Yeah, now.
Wait, actually now? Like
Yeah,
season
like
one
it will
now?
like well no, not now, but like 7 seconds ago now.
Oh, okay. Huh. Alright, Ozzy Mandias. I did
Yeah.
Time is
30
a
minutes ago.
flat circle.
Clearly.
Uh,
Isn't okay. I was gonna say, isn't a flat circle an oval?
Yeah.
Or is that
That
I don't think that's what a flat circle means. I don't.
is that like a actual like flattening?
yeah.
Like a
A dick
like how
flattening. I'm just kidding.
how a flat square is a rhombus.
Yeah. Like when someone steps on your penis, that kind of flattening.
No, like so one day we're gonna start the podcast and then you
Mhm.
guys we're gonna be talking, you guys are gonna be like, um uh you guys would be like, yo, are we recording now? And I'd be like, we've been recording. And you guys have been like, what? I started recording an hour ago.
What?
I'm not some superficial villain that
Yeah.
tells you my plan. I did it 30 minutes ago.
And then it's too late.
And the alien comes in and stops the Cold War.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh
did you guys watch that show? Did we talk about that? I
what
don't
show?
think we
The
did.
Watchmen show?
The Watchmen show.
I still haven't watched it.
Whew.
Cool, because I know it's canceled.
Yeah,
And I know I'm gonna
What is
like
there?
it.
What is there to get excited about?
it was a good one and done, guys. I mean, it's you just
Oh,
treat it
really?
like a mini series.
Oh, okay.
It's good. I think it's well contained. It doesn't beg further questions necessarily. When you
Okay.
finish it.
Okay, that actually, yeah, makes me want to watch it then.
It's a yeah. It's like watching a good British show. It's like
Yeah.
well done.
Oh yeah.
They
Well
all
done.
drink poison at the end.
When they ended Downton Abbey with everyone drinking poison, I thought it was weird.
They're choking on Fago.
That's like one of my favorite community jokes. Is
what's
that who I'd say Abed?
Mhm.
What show got canceled? It was either The Cape or Cougar Town. It was Cougar Town. Cougar Town
Yeah.
finished, and he
Mhm.
was having like panic
Withdrawals.
attacks and
Oh my God.
withdrawals for not watching. And then I think it's Annie or the other one,
Britta.
Britta, water filter Britta, and and then they get yeah, it is Britta. She comes in and goes, here's a British series, you'll probably like where Cougar Town was originally based off of, and then they're telling like dry British jokes, and he's like watching, and then they drink their drinks, and it turns out they've been poisoned, and then they all die, and that the show ends as he's watching.
Here's the thing though. I don't know if this is a thing. Did you guys ever watch like any
Cougar
of
Town?
the shows on?
No.
Yeah, did you ever watch Cougar Town?
No, I never watched Cougar Town. You know
Yeah,
he's in. You know Abed's in Cougar Town.
I've watched that scene of Cougar Town.
Yeah,
where
that's the only one
Abed
I've seen.
Is Abed.
I wanted to live in Cougar Town.
Well, who wouldn't? Hey, Courtney Cox in her prime.
That's that prime. Okay. I thought that's her Optimus Prime right
You know, we
there.
should make this. We should make this podcast just about Cougar Town, even though none of us have seen Cougar Town.
What do you think Cougar Town's about? I think it's about endangered cats.
I always thought it was an Animorphs thing where they all
Oh.
turn to cougars at.
Okay.
Wait, the children turn to like actual cougars?
They're
or
not
they
children.
turn
They
into-
They're
are.
adult women.
They're adult
who
women
turn into cougars
going through their careers,
under a full
trying to
moon,
figure
start
out
rolling
love
cigarettes.
at
They
a
have grown children and college and beyond.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out love at an age where most people view them as finished. Like, come on.
Wait, okay. Now
The
I wanna
world
talk
needs
about
those
Animorphs.
characters.
I
Yeah.
want to talk about Animorphs really bad.
Here's another thing. I know nothing about Animorphs other than the covers, so like,
Oh,
Wait, really?
you can talk about Animorphs. Yeah,
We
Wait.
talked about it a bunch. on
I know.
the-
I've never read an Animorph book.
Well,
But you
clearly,
have-
Ian, he doesn't pay attention to you because
You've read an
just went
Animorph.
I do, but I'm surprised that Chris forgot that all those tirades you went on Twitch streams.
About
You
Animorphs?
did Kim Hearts, yeah.
I did
There was a
not.
bunch.
I just love the concept of Animorphs.
I think you like the idea of it more than the actual.
I've never read. I know some scenes from the cartoons.
Let me make
And from the show?
even more obscure reference. I think that for me, Animorphs is a lot
Mhm.
like that sexy drama from Australia where all the teens turn into mer people. Like, in theory, sounds fun, but I don't want to watch that show. I don't care that much.
Well,
Is it?
It's
age-
because you're old now. And, and now
I'm
you're like,
sorry, the
and now you're
preteen
like,
shows
these
don't
are
do it for you.
teenagers, and I don't want to.
I don't care. I don't
Like
care.
Riverdale, right? Riverdale is
I
obviously
Don't get me started on
catered
Riverdale.
is
Well-
catered to teenagers who are
I
going to
think-
be like, oh, they're teenage heartthrobs. And then you're like, well, they're teenagers. I'm an adult. That's weird. I'm not going to watch this.
Well, I think I've said it on the show. That's legitimately why I stopped watching the Sabrina show. It got way too weird.
Oh,
way
yeah.
too fast.
Yeah. You told me about that shit.
It was, and I'm sure Riverdale's the same deal. Like, I don't think that the mermaids are quite that sexual. Like, it's just like, this is a wholesome Australian program.
Is it
where
like a
teen-
reverse mermaid?
No.
No, it's not like a reverse mermaid. Explain to everyone what you're describing.
Oh, that's easy. It's a reverse. So a mermaid is the fish half at the bottom
Sure.
and the fish half at the top, i.e.
You're
the
right, yeah.
conundrum between
Wait,
most.
what?
You just described a fucking fish.
Oh, did I
Like a
say it?
mermaid.
Okay, I went through that too fast. I went through I went through that too fast. It's the bottom half of a rabbit with the head of a rabbit. Now,
Oh.
I went through that joke too fast trying to get to the punchline. A mermaid is bottom half fish, top half human, and the conundrum with all male nerds, because this is where all male nerds most of their thoughts go to: how do I fuck that mermaid? If there's there's the conundrum. So reverse mermaid solves that problem, and it's a fish half on top and human parts at the bottom, so you can have the sex that makes something.
But also, you have to look in the dead eyes
Of a
monster.
fish.
Of a
Well, you
ghoul.
can look away.
I mean,
Put
I
a bag
guess
on
you
their head.
could.
Can you? How big is the fish pot? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
No, it's human size.
It's exactly. It's not got a neck. It's
Yeah.
just all torso.
I mean, honestly, I
What
would
if it's
go
on
with
top?
The fish bottom.
have you? Wait. Okay. I know we're jumping topics like super fast. We're gonna.
we
go
really
back-
are. This is like the worst versions of most pop culture podcasts.
We're gonna jump back. I promise.
Yeah.
Let me.
I don't even know what we started on, dude.
We started on Animorphs.
PS3.
That's not what we started on. There was something
was
before.
PS3.
It was Cougar Town. It was Cougar Town. We were saying.
We're talking about
Yes,
Cougar
I
Town.
would like to live in Cougar Town, is what I said.
I'm sorry, Ian. Go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
I was just gonna say. Also, if you see the movie The Lighthouse, they also resolve that conundrum. It's not much better, but
I still haven't seen it.
you guys. Okay, you gotta see it just to validate my feeling that I'm now convinced that is a weird sex thing.
Okay.
It absolutely is. There's no way it isn't.
All right. Yeah. Just because you've been talking about it so much, I'm like curious now.
Anyway, Cougar Town. Isn't Cougar Town really our ideal in every way? Let's go.
I haven't watched Cougar Town, but it sounds white, and I feel like
I can feel it. I smell it. The paleness.
You're not wrong. You're not
Okay.
wrong. When I think
see
about
that,
that though, I want to know is on the sliding scale.
uh-huh.
There is a sliding scale, and at one end is Friends.
I was gonna say, yeah, Friends is the epitome of what I can think of.
It's the whitest, and then I guess the other end would be Girlfriends. I want to say is the anti-Friends.
I've never even seen what?
Girlfriends or The Wire. The opposite.
Clearly.
I guess, yeah, I guess The Wire would be.
Yeah.
Remember when he turned into a briefcase? He was in the courtroom, and then he turned, and then
8
turned
seasons.
into a
Holy shit for
briefcase.
Girlfriend.
Oh, you're talking about Girlfriends.
Wait,
I
you
don't
mean The
remember that.
Wire, Nick, or like?
yeah, you said The Wire.
I did
Remember?
say The Wire.
Remember? Oh no, Chris, you haven't watched it, but like,
Yeah.
it's funny, I swear. So like, never mind, forget it. I'm alone on this one.
Let's
Forget
all talk about shows we haven't seen. and
Yeah,
just
what
guess
shows?
what
Holy
we
have you seen and can
shit.
never reference?
Oh no, never mind. Okay. I thought Girlfriends premiered September 11th, 2001,
Mhm.
but it was September 11th, 2000.
So close.
I was like,
close.
holy shit, and they still were able to do 8 seasons. They didn't just die on.
No, Girlfriends kept us secure, and I'm saying this is not a joke. This is serious. This is me being real.
Why did Girlfriends get
kept
canceled?
us all safe. This was it was a good show. It kept us all safe and balanced in a tumultuous time.
Why did Girlfriends get canceled? According to TV series finale, the CW decided not to produce any more episodes due to the show being too expensive to film. In parentheses, the final season was also during the Writers Guild of America strike. So there you go.
Well, that's 2 bad strikes against them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when Tim Allen lost his other show because it was too expensive to make.
What was that other show?
Last Man Standing, where he had a show for like 9 years.
Oh yeah, and then like people thought that show got canceled for political reasons. No, just money.
It was because they have to pay. They basically all the actors get a bump in pay every year.
Yeah.
The show goes on, and Tim Allen is getting like he's a movie star.
he was Santa Claus for a while.
Santa Claus. He was a spaceman like 4 times.
Yeah.
So anyway, that happened. So hey guys, it's what episode are we on now?
I don't think.
You've been saying that for every past episode. I don't fucking know. Why
It
are
should
you
be
people here?
35.
How'd you get here?
It should be 35 because
I like
it should be. I have to double check if it actually is because I know we missed like 1 or 2.
We'll find out.
Or we may have made it back. I'm not sure.
Oh
it
my
was
God, Chris.
35. Well, we did makeup podcasts and like just to make up like shit we missed.
Yeah.
And then there was like all the movie ones that we did impromptu. I want to say it's 35 because 36 should be the 3rd year anniversary, which is
nice.
wait, is it 3 or is it 4?
2018, I think.
Okay,
So-
should be 3.
3, yeah.
Okay.
Coming on up, guys.
Coming on up.
Sneaking
Holy
up.
shit.
And I have to make sure some plans are good for that podcast. So not saying anything yet.
But
We're definitely gonna watch the entire Osmosis Jones movie.
I'll do it.
the movie?
I'll do it.
Talk about
I'll
the
do it.
show.
Yeah, I'll do it. Fuck it.
We're gonna
It's a trip.
talk about Bill Murray's greatest achievement,
Uh-huh.
the Osmosis Jones movie.
I will here's a little preview of people have been watching the streams already know this. Nick already knows this, painfully so. That we have new additions to the stream. Warning to you, Ian, right now, this will probably not pick up that well. But I'm gonna switch inputs here. Hopefully it doesn't fuck up recording.
Okay.
This should pick up on the OBS. So, edition number 1.
Is that a slide whistle?
Yes. I cannot tell you how much joy I've gotten out of this thing, Ian, since I bought it for $5 this past week or so. I won't stop.
He never stops.
Like, I'll walk around and just tell a joke. I also have a clown horn. And this one's a little bit tougher because you gotta really go for it. Did that even pick up on mic?
No, it
didn't.
picked up. I heard
okay.
it.
Okay.
Oh.
So, like, you can tell a joke, Ian, if you want. Like, if you got...
If I got a joke on
if you got a joke on you right now, but at the second.
Sure. Here's an old classic. Where do you send mail to dead people?
Where do you send mail to dead people, Ian?
Florida. They're all old.
Oh, should I just stop the call or?
No! I love this thing so much. It's so loud. It's so fucking loud,
It's
Ian. I
really
can't. It was a bike
Uh,
horn. I dismantled it. Like,
Do you mean you stole someone's bike horn?
no, no one around me had like
Around me?
had like a clown horn for a bike horn. Uh, but those were very worthwhile purchases for less than shit. I want to say it was less than $15. I went
Listen,
cheap.
If you didn't
Like
buy
those
them,
cables.
Yeah, that's right.
if you didn't buy them, you'd actually be losing money.
I do. I can't express the joy it gives me. I feel like it's like the shining beacon of light now in these horrible times for me.
I mean,
Oh, someone's in the background.
Oh, who is that?
Who's that?
Did we cut this out or?
Is it the cat?
Oh no, it's the cat. He's talking to him.
He's talking to the cat. The cat finally learned how to talk back.
Yeah.
Cat learned to talk back. The cat now wants to sell us boots.
What's going on, Ian?
What's going?
What's happening?
I think one of our roommates is on the phone with the doctor or something.
Oh, okay.
Well, we
Is it
gotta
picking
cut
up
this
really
out then.
loudly? Is it picking up? Should we...
I
This
kinda-
picks up.
Like if it starts getting real personal and I can hear things, I'll stop it.
Okay.
I'll stop the recording. But I can't make out shit.
Okay, great. Well then,
I honestly
hey,
can't
guys,
either.
You're just living. You're. It's like you're here in the home with me. It's like you're really here in the.
Yeah. Did you switch mics? Because now it sounds like you're talking in the room.
In the. What do you mean in the room?
Like what mic are you using?
I'm using the same pickup mic that I was just using before.
Oh, now it sounds better because it's closer to your mouth, I guess.
Oh, okay. Let me try. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So cool. Those are the two new additions to the Storyteller cast family. Still haven't figured out a replacement for Bernie yet because he is broken, and we need a new Bernie, and we need a better Bernie.
I know you're not talking about the old man, but immediately that's where my mind went.
So, I've had that skeleton before before the name Bernie became mainstream.
That skeleton was Bernie before. It's cool.
Well, I'm not gonna call the
Clearly.
next skeleton Bernie. I'll probably call it something else. I like Agnew.
That's very good.
I like Agnew.
But I feel like that one needs to be headless. Is that a reference for people? Is that
Yeah,
still funny?
Futurama is still a thing. I think
Okay.
it's harder to find now.
It's off of Netflix, is it?
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
God.
only on Sci-Fi. I think,
Oh my god. Okay.
which sucks.
So, I know that we're really taking our time, sweet time about getting into it, but one last thing before we
Sure.
get into the show proper. Have you guys seen that NBC is got its own streaming service now?
I had heard about it. I haven't seen it.
It's very strange. I literally found out about it because they were promoting Brave New World as a miniseries.
Oh shit.
It's a really hard book to film, I think.
Or the easiest.
Or conceivably the easiest. It seems like for some reason nobody's been able to do it. It's pretty good. I watched.
Oh,
the
it's
first 2
actually
hours.
good.
I liked the first 2 hours of it. I'll say that.
Okay.
And I like the kind of I think they nailed poverty tourism in the
Ah.
like Londoners wanting to go to the reservations and be
Yeah.
look at all these poor people. Yeah, they nailed that perfectly.
Yeah. I think the Jim Jeffrey show did expose on that kind of stuff, like in Africa.
Oh my god. Yeah, man.
Or was it specifically? I don't want to, I don't know specifically where in Africa it was, but they were talking about that shit.
I mean, it's a real thing. It is a real thing.
Yeah, it's super real thing.
The-
But yeah.
oh my God.
Anyway, should we just get into what we've been up to?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Okay. All right. Ian, you want to go first? You sound like you had stuff to say.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
I got stuff to talk about.
Yeah. As opposed to my
Really want-
vapid ramblings of nothing. Go ahead, Ian.
Yeah, well, hang on. Clearly, it's more important. Hang on. What?
Well,
What are you talking
do
about,
you
Chris?
do you want to go first?
No,
I'm
no, I
happy to-
don't want to go first.
Because it really sounded like you.
Oh,
like,
really?
in your way
No,
of
I was
explaining.
trying to take a dig at me because
Right?
I wanted to make it seem like, my
Ian, I'm not crazy.
my
right?
months are vapid ramblings of nothing.
It came across like Ian's in your way of your comedy.
Oh,
Listen,
no,
I'm
I
just
feel-
told.
Chase.
that would have been
Let
like-
Daddy eat the sunlight.
Ian, you're
It's
in
just
my
tough
son.
being comedic genius. Yeah, that's right.
Ian, it sounds like you have something to say this month.
Yeah.
And you're so excited. Why don't you go?
I am very excited. Let me start with. I'll start with the things I've been reading, and then I'll go into the stuff I've been looking at.
Okay.
So I just finished this new novel. It's called Fibre Tropical.
Cool.
It's by Juliana Delgado La Pereira. And I met this writer while I was up in San Francisco back in the before times.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was talking about her book a little bit, and it's a pretty good story. It's by a Colombian writer, and it talks about basically like being an immigrant in the 90s, and
Yeah.
then she her family gets really into Jesus, and then she gets really into ladies, and and all. I mean, I don't really want to spoil anything in the book. It's a really interesting read. Honestly, the first 4 chapters of it were I would say as intense as reading a Toni Morrison novel. Like the intensity is
Okay.
palpable. It is up there. I don't know if it's a positive for you or not, but it's
Yeah, I
really
guess that begs to be seen.
yeah. It's basically a bilingual book. It swaps between English and Spanish, which
Oh, that's cool.
it was fine for me with
Yeah.
my comprehension level of Spanish.
Yeah.
So I was following along fine. The other thing I just want to mention about it, other than just to say it's a very good book, I'd recommend people go check it out. Especially for a debut novel. It's the only book I've ever read that talks about Caso Cerrado. If you guys know about that show,
No.
it's like it's a Telemundo show that's like it's a courtroom drama. It's like Judge Judy, but in Spanish, and it's
Oh, I might. Hang on.
consistently got.
I feel like my
crazy
grandma's watched
stories.
that.
Everybody's grandma watches that.
Yeah, and I feel like I've locked in on that.
And it's like there's like a blonde woman who's the judge, and she doesn't wear.
Yeah. Okay, I know
That's
which one.
one. Man, we talked about this so much. It's a freaking trip.
Yeah, I know we've talked about this show on this
Okay,
podcast
okay.
before, but I'm just so delighted that somebody wrote at least 4 pages just to explain like this is what happens in this show, and we're all fine with it. We all think it's normal and it's cool.
Yeah.
So it's a really good book. Fibre Tropical is a really cool book.
Gotcha. And who is it by?
That is by Juliana Delgado.
Juliana Delgado.
And the other book I'm about halfway through, but it's short fiction, so
Gotcha.
you can kind of pick it up any old place. Is this other book called "Songs of a Dead Dreamer and Grimscribe."
Okay.
And that is by the author Thomas Ligotti. That's double T on Ligotti.
Yeah.
And it is some horror fiction, and it is top notch. It is some really inventive, just really well written horror stories. Some of them are just as short as like 2 pages, and they just work. And that's so impressive to see.
If you turn this page, you'll die.
Exactly.
And then the next page is not right now, but like
You and you're now cursed.
You are now. You're turning gay. Hypnosis. You can't help
You're
it.
turning really gay.
You remember that sketch? Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
If you just wanted $5, you could just ask for 5. Anyway, I just wanted to mention one of the short stories that I thought really kind of knocked my socks off in it. The story is called. Look through here. I've got it right here. Drink to Me with Labyrinthine Eyes. And the story is about a hypnotist for hire who like does parties for rich folks. Like he'll come to your house and he'll put on a hypnotism act.
Okay.
And then he brings out his unusually beautiful assistant and basically does like body horror stuff to her for 4 pages. Like stabs her with needles or whatever.
It's that couple from Venture Bros.
Oh, it totally.
Who do the Hellraiser?
Oh yeah. Is it over? Oh, that was horrid.
I mean, you put the stuff in her eyes. I don't even.
Hang on, I almost got the cube. Hang on. I got a couple colors left.
What? I can't see anything. That is because you are sane.
That's such a good show, man. I can't wait for that. But anyway,
have we thought about it maybe being the god Zeus? Maybe he's mad that no one worships him anymore.
Well, let's forego that idea and think about something realistic. Oh my god.
So they do these body horror things.
So they do these body horror things, stuck them with knives, and she gets like her neck broken and shoved into a suitcase or whatever.
Shit.
And then he's like, "Woo, fine." That's exactly how he says it.
Ric Flair over here.
And then at the end of the show, his like closer is he's like, "She is beautiful as an angel. I will make her into one." And she literally like sprouts wings and levitates and starts to irradiate the room with light.
Sick.
And he's like, "Yeah, the crowd wasn't as impressed with that as the knife stuff." So that's fine. And so then the kind of turning point in the novel is he realizes that the hosts of the party have like a son, like a little boy who has been watching from the staircase.
Yeah.
Up past bedtime watching the grown-up party. And as soon as the act ends, basically everybody at the party is so entranced by how beautiful this woman is.
Yeah.
He basically gets kind of sidelined and they just want to monopolize her time. So he goes over to the boy who seems like upset by what he's seen.
Okay, yeah.
And he hypnotizes the kid and basically says, "You're not going to remember any of this and you're going to stay asleep until sun comes up. Nothing is going to wake you up no matter what sounds you hear."
Dang.
And then the boy goes to sleep. And the reveal is he only goes under a fake name. He's basically moving town to town doing this act because he can't do it twice.
Yeah.
And the act actually is that he, from the start, has hypnotized the entire crowd, and that his lovely assistant is just a cadaver that he's uncovered, and that all these people are fawning over a dead body that they don't realize is until he breaks the hypnosis on them.
Spoilers.
Pretty good one. I mean, that's one of
many twists.
Like 35 short stories in that collection.
Oh, okay.
Really good. Really
neat.
Good stuff, gang.
And what is that collection called again? By who?
That collection is by Thomas Ligotti, Ligotti, and it is Songs of the Dreamer and Grim Scribe.
Gotcha.
Oh, the forward's done by Jeff Vandermeer.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. What? Did you read anything else or watch anything else or?
Yeah, I watched some things recently. I recently I got to watch HBO. And
what?
Not to brag.
You remember like growing up? I mean, I still. So here's my thing. Growing up with like, whenever someone said I watched something on HBO, you go, "You rich motherfucker."
Yes.
And like immediately. And nowadays, I don't know if that's still like true, but I still, whenever I think of HBO, I just go, "Oh, they must be doing fine.
Right.
They
It
must be
turns
well
All
off."
the way
out
after dark.
Yeah.
having it is actually as expensive as having Netflix. So
Huh.
yeah,
Okay, so if you don't have
but
cable, like you're still saving money. Like,
yeah, exactly. I would say,
yeah.
here's what I would say though. I absolutely agree with you, Chris. I know because I knew the kids who growing up would be like, yeah, whatever. I watched like Terminator and then like all the soft core late at night. It's fine, whatever. I'm just kind of better.
I'm
And
more
Well, it wasn't.
desensitized now than anything. When I hit college, I'm gonna be into something darker.
You're not still taping bum fights, are you?
No, I've moved on. Something darker. Krieger's the best.
He's probably one of the best inventions of that show.
He's probably my favorite character in that show. Just because he's one of those characters. Every time he says something, it's gold.
I can't hear you all the way from Fort
Kick-Ass.
And also, he's a clone of Hitler. Probably a clone.
It's never confirmed, but it's pretty much like
It's Are you kidding? What was the line
he was robbed from his childhood home in what was
Brazil?
it, Buenos Aires, or it was a South America.
And they established like he can speak Portuguese fluently.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was pretty common in my neighborhood. Gotta go.
How's HBO?
Yeah, how's HBO?
Guys. There's two shows I've been watching on HBO that I really want to talk about.
Mhm.
One is Infinity Train, which is a neat animated program.
Yeah, I think I accidentally saw the first episode, or second, when I was in Vegas once. I think it was during Evo, but I'm not sure.
It's I really like it. I think it's some good storytelling, really well done.
Oh, okay, cool.
And also it is very clever in that it kind of gave itself a narrative to do almost anything it wants to do.
Yeah, it's a magic train where every cart is magic, right? Like it's along that line.
It's kind of like every car is a own little pocket world.
Yeah, so you can do whatever the fuck.
I guess that's kind of like Tower of God, where each level is like a whole society, or
yeah. There is actually a lot of that. Oh, and there is a lot of like weird human beings trapped in a space long enough that they make a weird like society. That also.
I do know about that part, and that's like one of the recent seasons, right? The group.
That's right.
That are traveling.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to spoil because
they're the group.
Yeah, I might check it out.
Apex. Yeah, that's not necessarily spoiled, but there is a group of people trapped on the train that make.
Gotcha.
And then like it's. Let me say this, and I don't think that this is a spoiler, just thematically talking about kind of like the things it touches on, even as early as so like season 1 is kind of I'd say comfortable within the world of like this is something that I think children's animation broaches when you're talking about identity and like accepting yourself and really looking, and also like accepting the less flattering parts of yourself and saying maybe I need to work on that.
But man, what if I'm a monster?
Exactly. What if you're?
I don't know what the show's about. I just feel like there should be a kid show at some point. What if I'm one of those kids that's fucked?
Well, maybe you should start watching the show, guy.
Oh yeah? Yeah, sick.
Yeah, because then as each season goes on, the themes and things that happen get a little more nuanced, a little more complicated. Until you start to, like this last season, ask some very hard questions.
Dang.
That are ostensibly, I think, like the oldest people are like 15 or 16.
Oh, okay. So they know nothing.
They know nothing. They are, but also like the idea is like because of the way that the train works and the way time on it works, like there are theoretically people who have been on the train since they were like little, like oh, I got picked up when I was 4 or 5. I had a really bad day, and now I'm gonna be 19, and now I don't know any. It's like Jumanji rules, you know?
yeah.
Like, I've been in this weird magic world longer than reality.
Yeah, for pretty much my entire upbringing, I've been here.
Mhm.
If it's when you're 4, you probably don't even remember anything beforehand.
Exactly. Like the idea of like, and for those people, what even is it to?
What is freedom? Like if you define freedom by being outside of the train, when ostensibly your whole world is the train.
And
You people
then,
staring at shadows on a wall in a cave.
and and then just to tie a bow on that last thing, and I'll move from the subject if you want, but
No.
they also then kind of go into, because the train manifests characters, I guess is the best way to say it, like life forms, like artificial beings,
Uh-huh.
but they are like they're made from the train, but they're clearly like they need to eat and sleep and breathe, and
Yeah.
they exist within a set of parameters. And then like they start to ask the question of, well, where does humanity end or begin? Like,
And
what
where
makes
the-
you a person?
And where does the train start?
Some hard questions.
Some hard questions.
No, it's really good. And
Okay, I don't care if it's spoilers. Is there a train where it's just a regular train cart?
I think they did that in like the early episodes where it's
Damn
just
it.
literally
I
like,
feel like the last episode should be that. I guess you either get it out of the way now or you do it or you do it way at the end.
we had a dining car, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's
Yeah.
just a regular train car. Yeah.
So like I know it's a show designed for kids too, so like eventually there's going to be a big conflict that must be solved
Right.
against probably a big bad.
Right.
It should be in a train cart that's that's
is
just
the
seats.
Just
And there's some like
just a
old man who
passenger
fell
car.
asleep. Yeah, who fell asleep on the ride over.
You want to see a gang
So-
fight in a subway?
Yeah,
You wanna see
essentially.
outsiders.
I want the
What's-
creators to go. We ran out of ideas.
Well, what was that? What was that, man?
Oh no, I was gonna say that actually reminds me of like in the show Mononoke. The final episode is pretty much about the first train cars being put into Japan
Uh-huh.
post World War II, and you essentially have a spirit that possesses a certain car, and then everyone's just in an infinite loop until they can figure out what the spirit is, like what its reason is for being unrestful. And then there's a scene where
He hates public transit.
no, it turns out well, the actual answer is that everyone in that car should be thrown out, but
No, okay.
but it's one of those where like everyone's guilty to some degree of something.
It's Murder on the Orient Express.
Essentially,
Oh, dude.
though the issue was that the show was like every time they had a spirit to put away, the thing was like the spirit was really justified in its anger,
Yeah,
like the person, like it's 100% justified every episode.
yeah.
But it's not
Most
about
Japanese
the-
spirits are. I
Yeah,
feel
and
like
it's not-
whenever
and
I
it's
see them in a
not-
show.
Yeah, and it's not about whether or not they get the justice they're looking for. It's more about them just being put away.
Yeah.
Right.
So which can like not be appealing to everyone to people, but
Yeah.
I do think at least that show handled it. But yeah, I would definitely check out Infinity Train. I remember watching the pilot when it was being thrown around on like the internet for a long time. I mean, I think it came out around the time the pilot for I want to say a regular show was around that time.
Okay.
That was definitely when Cartoon Network was doing that whole YouTube short
It's definitely
pitches.
It's been brewing for a while. I can definitely confirm that.
Gotcha.
Definitely a really good piece of work. You can watch all 30 episodes, which are
Oh.
only 11 minutes long right now.
Is it an ongoing show?
Each season is a kind of contained story, but they have some overlap.
Okay. But yeah, so there hasn't been like a conclusion or anything.
I don't know if it's necessarily a story that would have.
Okay, sorry, I'm straight up asking if the show's over or not.
No.
Okay.
They haven't been picked up for season 4, but if they want to, they could. Just know that if you wanted, you could literally watch.
No, I'm probably still gonna check it out.
Each season kind of handles its own story with its own protagonist.
Yeah.
But it very obliquely will actually address the big questions of like where's the train from and why
Yeah.
is it doing this, or
Yeah.
that stuff is
Yeah.
touched on, but that's not the point necessarily.
Yeah, no, it's never is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then one last program I gotta mention, guys.
Gotcha.
From the home box office.
Ooh.
Yeah. I've been watching Lovecraft Country, and it's real good.
Yeah, I've been hearing nothing but good things about it. I want to check it out.
It's
Also, people didn't know about Sundown Towns, or
yeah.
that was a weird one to learn.
It's I mean, it's another piece of like weird, terrible history that turns out to be. Oh no, that was real. That really happened. I don't know. I'll just talk about it broadly, and then just to give an idea, it's based on a 2016 novel.
Okay.
The novel is really well received. I haven't read it personally.
Yeah.
But the show so far basically follows a Korean War veteran who's coming home in about the early 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
He's returning to his hometown in Chicago when he receives a letter from his father, who, for reasons that aren't clear, they aren't very close.
Okay.
So when he gets back to Chicago, he meets up with his uncle who runs a bookshop. And here's one thing I gotta mention right away, because I liked it so much. So the show is really interesting. I think that one of the themes of the show that you could say is like people, because it's an ostensibly predominantly black cast. It's a mostly black cast, and a lot of the stuff that they're talking about is the idea of liking pieces when you're someone who likes a piece of media that doesn't necessarily afford you respect as an audience member.
Yeah. Okay.
So like
Lovecraft is
exactly. So like the protagonist himself is a fan of Lovecraft, but they like hang a lampshade on and draw attention to like he was a super racist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was his cat's name, Ian?
You know what? I for narrative
Others
reasons,
call him Jim.
his cat, and also that poem he wrote that was not about his cat.
That was not about his cat.
So apparently his dad named it, not him. He just inherited it after he left. Yeah.
He inherited that cat. He inherited a lot.
But he kept calling it that.
Yeah.
And then he wrote the poem.
It's not like he was like, well, shit, Dad called it that. I can't.
I can't change
Oh, Big Daddy Dearest.
It's right here on his chest.
It's written on the chest.
Painted on this cat. There's also those stories about the one that I always thought was like blew my mind was like, because even for the time he was alive, people thought he was like kind of out there. He was already weirdly racist for like the 1910. And there was a story about his second wife, who did eventually divorce him.
Oh yeah.
You know that where he would go on like these. He would get so heated just talking about the lesser races.
Oh yeah.
Get heated and lose like where he would ramble, basically just not lose track of where he was. And then his wife would have to be like, I'm Jewish, right? Like, the whole time. And then he would be like, well, like, you're one of the good ones. Clearly I don't and it's like that bullshit, whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. I mean, there's lots of other examples of that. They talk about also Edgar Rice Burroughs'
Yeah.
Princess of Mars novels, and how like Edgar Rice Burroughs, like a lot of like the hero John Carter is a Confederate soldier,
Yep.
but there's also clearly something going on with his relationship to Korea, specifically as a veteran, and what he may or may not have done in Korea. It's not clear, but essentially they then end up getting drawn into a real Lovecraftian kind of scenario and setting with ghouls and monsters and cults, and the indescribable, and
The unspeakable.
the unspeakable, indescribable. Yeah, guys, it's a really good show. It's really well written.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Love those writers. Really talented team of writers on that show. I don't really know what else I want to say necessarily. I just kind of want to leave it there. And then if you guys get a chance to see it, I'd love to talk about it more. But
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll probably take a look.
all right. Well, that's kind of the bigger part of my month.
Right on. Well, I have a transition. Didn't you watch the new Umbrella Academy season?
Oh yeah, I did watch that. Did you guys?
I also saw it.
Well, hey, let's have a little talk about the.
Nick, did you see it?
No,
Okay.
No.
Well, we're gonna talk about it. Eh.
that's fine.
It's okay. I'm not gonna go into spoilers or anything.
I'm not gonna watch it. I'll tell you right now. I'm never gonna.
Okay.
Watch it.
Oh.
I don't. You
Okay.
know what? I don't blame you, man. It's what like.
I
Here's
didn't
the
like
thing.
comics.
Oh, okay. Okay.
When
Okay.
they came out around that time, when they had that run, it wasn't for me.
Okay.
So, Ian, here's my thing. I think I've mentioned it before with like season 1, right? That show is made. It feels like it's fine tuned to do well. You know, like it's made to hit on notes that are very popular as of right now. And I think the most prime example of that is the music and soundtrack choices, where none of it's original, and if it is technically original, it's a cover, right? And it's supposed to hit on familiar nostalgia notes because they're all going for that nostalgia thing throughout the whole thing. It's supposed to be like, oh, I like this song, which means I like this scene, and all that.
Yes.
And that and like I get it. I get why people like that. And if it's like 1, maybe 2, or if it's in like a trailer, I'm usually not too bothered by it, mostly because I don't watch trailers anyway. But it's like 5 or 6 scenes every episode or something crazy like that, to the point where you go, this show must have a fuck ton of money.
This show
Like-
does have a fuck ton of money, clearly, and almost all of the budget is to
Oh.
the hits of the '60s.
To the hits, to get Ellen Page to be there. Yeah, and it's
Is the music distracting?
at some point it is now for me.
Yeah.
At some point it is now for me because I do have that cynic thing, and I kind of wish it was original music. I would have loved to hear that.
Yeah.
Just because I'd rather have that. I'd rather hear. I'm always looking for new music, so I'd rather hear something good that I've never heard before
Right.
than re-listen to something. Even if it's songs that I personally love, like Major Tom was used for the entire first sequence,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that
you know who
song
ma-
bops. That's right, kids. I said bops, and
It really
it slaps. It's on fleek, and it burns. I don't know.
They don't. To the point that I think you were about to make,
Yeah.
Nick, is they don't use any of the creator's music in the show at all.
No.
None of his music.
Yeah. None of it. None of it's made it in there.
None of it has been used at all. Yeah.
It's literally all like Billboard 100,
Yeah.
like hits. Like at some point, all these were like in the top 100.
A lot of lounge music. I realized
Yeah.
looking back, I actually pulled up the soundtrack for the season just to
Uh-huh.
take a look at it,
It's
and I
long.
didn't realize it's a long album. It's a
Yeah.
very big album. I didn't realize how much like stuff from the 50s they were also using in there, like Sinatra and like Perry Como and
Oh yeah,
like
a lot of
yeah,
background mostly,
yeah.
but it's become distracting for me, and it feels almost sterile now. And
Okay.
I don't know if it's quite their fault or if it's this like wave that's been going on, especially with trailers where they do the breathy cover of some
Sure.
80s song.
What if we did Losing Our Religion, but
Yeah,
it's really sad?
but it's really breathy, and we pause it and we take it out and we like draw it out.
So, okay.
It's
So, okay.
sorry. I know most people aren't gonna be bothered by that, but it bugs me a lot. And again, I know it's to mass appeal, so like whatever. But I can talk about the show now if if you want.
I mean,
Oh, sorry, Nick. You were gonna say something though.
Well, I was just gonna add like my view on it because I remember reading the first two volumes when they came out because it was like a short, limited series, like Dark
Yeah.
Horse let him do. And well, the reason why I wasn't really too into it was it's very clear that he's a huge fan of Grant Morrison.
Okay.
And specifically the character dynamics. He took inspiration from Doom Patrol,
Yeah, I can see that.
and at least like at least I remember reading it and thinking this comes across like I like Doom Patrol and here's why. And it's like him expressing what he personally enjoys about Doom Patrol and like with these character interactions and then like how they excuse me, how they find like their identity in a way.
Yeah.
Where Doom Patrol is about redemption, where Umbrella Academy is they're kind of going for like the X-Men identity thing. At least when I read
Yeah.
it, and that was like years ago.
it,
Well, I was gonna say, but the whole time I just felt like I should just read Doom Patrol at this point because he's trying really hard to find his identity, but at the same time, he's clearly just I don't want to say stealing, but it's very obvious that he loves Grant Morrison so much.
Okay.
It's one of those like
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely see the Morrison influences in his work.
Definitely.
And I get that. I think that there's elements of I'd say it's pulling from I'd say it's definitely pulling from Morrison and Moore and the kind of 70s 80s run of X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it is apples and oranges though as far as the show, just because of how much the show ends up really altering course on just about everything. I mean, the huge portions of the narrative are completely.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I haven't read the comics, but I've heard it's totally different now.
I mean, in the broad stroke that there's going to be an apocalypse done X this way or an apocalypse done
Yeah.
that way. That is the case, but
And next
basically-
season we'll see how the apocalypse happens again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess it's difficult because I mean, I think I told before how much I love like that run of comics from Grant Morrison.
Uh-huh.
Like before All Star Superman, that was like my favorite thing he did was that run of like Doom Patrol.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I guess it was just like the mindset and like kind of like the view I had when reading it. And I do know that most of the reviews for the comics recently, because of the upsales and like the revival of the volumes, that a lot of people just prefer the show versus like the comics interpretation.
I think the show is actually a little bit cleaner a story, if that makes sense. Like the comic kind of has this tendency to splinter out and digress.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I didn't like that.
the show is a much cleaner, streamlined animal.
Well, the show is designed so you keep binging it.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those we talk about the problems of shows being more and more brought out like this and how we're gonna see them start playing out.
Yeah.
I feel like this show is starting to become the latest product of that.
Mhm.
And we're seeing all that. We're seeing the music choices. We're seeing that how the hooks are designed, how everything is kind of kept to keep going forward. Kept so you can watch this over one weekend, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
essentially.
you can watch it the first weekend, not later or anything.
And that's how so many of the shows, as you said, that's how
Yeah,
many shows are structuring themselves. It's, well, we want you to sit down
yeah.
and just jam this all in.
And of course, the next step being, since they add the watch at a faster pace, is we're gonna get to a show eventually that's designed to be watched at twice the speed, right? Like, and who knows what that's gonna look like? That's gonna be fucking wild. But it
Yeah.
doesn't sound fun to me, at
They
least.
designed this show to only take 11 minutes to watch.
Yeah, we just invented 5-second movies again, and you gotta watch them
I
like
haven't
that.
thought about that channel in so long. That was
I I think Patton Oswalt retweeted one of the skits he did, and that's why I came back.
where he was a wizard or something. Yeah.
No, he was a mailman.
He was a mailman. Okay.
That was fucking great. I yeah. So I mean, you want to talk about like plot wise and like character wise what the show's going?
Well, I mean, I think plot-wise, at least for well, I'll just talk about this season in particular.
Uh,
Here's what I did like about the show. I think that it
yeah, I'll
worked
talk
well.
about stuff I like.
Is I think that it did a better job at balancing out the essentially 7 protagonists that you're supposed to be following.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, and I think they also now that it's season 2, you kind of got now you can kind of see a pattern that's developing, and you can draw kind of comparisons to things, and that is the 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 7 Hargreaves characters exist on a spectrum of crazy.
Yeah.
I'm saying this in regard to their plots specifically. I mean,
Yeah.
them as characters maybe, but their plot specifically. And that is to say that both the girls are on the more grounded side of the stories.
Uh-huh.
Ellen Page is not getting a lot of the boom boom, explosions and CGI stuff. She's getting a lot of quiet, meditative conversations about
Yeah.
character. And then I forget the actress's name who plays number 3, the rumor, but her plot
She's
line,
great, yeah.
she's a lovely actress, but her plot lines also tend to not actually revolve around action scenes and superheroism. It's
Yeah, and
season
magic
1,
and time travel.
in season 1 it was mostly about like finding yourself amid fame, and
Yeah.
season 2 is about just being a black person in a scary time and place.
Mhm.
Which doesn't. I mean, there's still some magicy stuff, but it's really comparatively grounded when you compare it to like Klaus and number 5, where
Mhm.
their storylines are almost exclusively like there's a man
Yeah.
with a fish for a head, and there's like a wacky ghost that sings and dances.
Yeah.
So I think I think that they did get better about balancing out the cast and the tones that they're trying to go for.
Yeah.
Because season 1 kind of, I'm not saying that this is necessarily a negative, but it definitely didn't. Well, maybe it is a little bit. It definitely didn't. It definitely didn't balance out tone quite right, because you would have moments of
No.
kind of wackiness, zaniness, and then suddenly you're brought into something that's grounded, and
Yeah.
it didn't always land the same because.
And there was also go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, you were just laughing. You were just
Yeah.
like, oh, this is dumb and ridiculous, and now you're supposed to be brought into, oh no, this is very serious.
Yeah. And there was, and season 1 definitely had, like, this storyline has the most attention than pretty much all the other ones, and it's very obvious which one.
Yes.
Second, it seems pretty more evenly distributed.
Yeah.
And that is, and another thing about the show, I will say, everyone's doing a great performance,
Mhm.
and a lot of my problems just come from like, yeah, the how this whole show is kind of designed, and probably with like writing aspects.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like here's the thing, I like Klaus, but at the same time, I know it's supposed to be pandering to that kind of like Johnny Depp thing
Yeah.
that like people love, and it goes. You know what the show? You know what the show? Like the word "hot topic" comes to my head, and it's one of those shows I go, "Oh, they're gonna sell a shit ton of merch at like Hot Topic," and
I
like,
absolutely agree. I absolutely agree.
and I don't. And it sounds like such a negative, and I don't want to discount any of the actors or anything because I do think they're doing great. Like I think they're pulling off really really fucking good performances for such weird characters.
Yes.
You know, I think they're doing those well.
I mean,
It's just like the writing aspect and like
it's really hard to ground because so like for example when Klaus has to have he has like 2 or 3 scenes in season 2 that
Yeah.
are not funny
yeah that are not comedy driven.
and
Yeah.
and they're there to make you feel tense and invested emotionally. I
Yeah.
think that he does do it. He can do it.
Yeah,
It is a matter of the material that's presented.
that's like given to him.
Yeah. And
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's also a question of like what tone do they want? Like it's also like because I agree with you absolutely, and it is also a matter, but there's also a degree of like, oh, I don't like how you did, blah blah blah, and it's like, oh no, I did that on purpose though. It's like, well,
Yeah.
okay, well, all right.
it's one of those things, man, where you feel like I'm probably the crazy one here because I know this shit sells.
Yeah.
And why won't you do the shit that sells, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess, and I'm just some old curmudgeon who's like, I don't want the thing that sells that Hot Topic, I guess.
I want it where they all drink poison and it
Yeah, they all, and then
like
the
the
answer becomes,
boom
Chris,
boom.
why don't you just watch a show that interests you? And you go, you know what? Why don't I? And like,
Well, yeah, but then you're like, well, now I won't watch it, Nick, because fuck you.
yeah. I'm a
Anyway.
complicated,
Woman, yes, clearly.
complicated person.
I've got layers.
I'm the
Like
guy
an
who wants a
like
reverse mermaid, and
Wait, seriously?
no, I
You
don't.
want to look at that eye?
No, mermaids freak me out all around. The whole idea of like a half animal, like human thing.
But
Freaks me
but
out.
if the top half's a human, do they still have the gills and like?
Dude, it's a
still
gross
arms, or-
fish and like part. You ever like, you ever hold a fish? They're all slimy and gross.
Yeah.
I love fish, but I don't want to hold one. You know.
We can't talk about sexual fish. We're gonna get back on Guillermo del Toro, and it's gonna be a sinkhole. We can't do this.
Hey, listen, I've already given my analysis of that whole thing. It's
But
a
what's
movie
the-
I'm very conflicted about because I love it, but at the
Okay.
same time, what the fuck? And like,
I'm just saying. Look, I'm just saying that there has to be a distinction of the human part and then the fish part, right? Because the fish part can just be the tail, and the human part can be like the human body, like a torso, but also have like scales and like.
but Nick, if a mermaid exists
But
in
what's
real
the
life,
limit?
that's probably not what would happen. It would probably be little fish parts
nothing's
like all
real.
over the place. I know nothing's real, but but if you want to talk about what needs to be, let's talk about what probably is gonna be. And like,
Yeah, we can just talk about what anything will be. Yeah, it's all chemicals. I have an idea of a mermaid, and I will engage in acts with it. But you have an idea of your
Yeah.
ideal mermaid, and you want to engage in acts with it.
it's just mermaids are from like Shantae, from the Mermaid Factory,
Oh,
where
hell
it's
yeah,
just
I'd do
it's
that.
just a fish, a parasite that latches on and turns
No,
them into a
when-
mermaid.
When they all combine to that giant mermaid queen, perfect.
Yeah, no, she's cool.
So,
Right? All right, we both agree. There it
I
is.
think we've alienated everybody. So-
This is the most like stream of conscious we've done in a while. Okay, but so any other thoughts? I mean, like, good
Really
performances
can.
all around. Without getting into spoilers, I guess.
I think the performances are really good. I think. Oh, you know what? I do want to say. I think the costume work is excellently done.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're really.
The stuff with when you get all those scenes that go from the 50s to the 60s to
Yeah.
the 90s to the present. That costume work is just so good. It puts you in
Yeah.
place in time. Really well done. Uh, well done on that front.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right,
Yes.
that's my piece.
Okay. Nick, what's been going on with you?
All right. Well, I'll just talk about the stuff I went through like by myself because I know some of the things uh, between this episode and previous episode Chris and I consumed together.
Uh-huh.
But it was definitely but definitely on those points it was more about Chris like first experiencing them
Okay.
because I think I've talked about some of these things before. So
Okay.
um, so one of the things I went through TV show wise was I finished Korra as of this recording literally 2 days ago. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Mhm.
all 4 seasons. Because it was all on Netflix. Same with the first one. And general thoughts. Well, I see all the complaints. I think they're all pretty justified. I don't think
Mhm.
that two was as bad as people made it out to be. To me, when it was coming out years ago, I will say I am also bummed out that the Equalists were just blown away, and that they
Yeah.
weren't because for a lot of plot lines, what happens is that they get the leader right, and
Mhm.
then there's still, however, there's still rogue members or like rogue like people that still want that to happen. Like you had General Ozai's group, you had the groups of the Fire Nation still around.
Yeah.
But in Korra, it's like the moment like the moment oh my god, what's his name? Steve Bloom, freaking mass.
Amon.
Oh, Amon.
Amon. The moment
I got it
Amon like
first.
gets revealed, good job. And then the
Thank
moment
you.
Amon is revealed, they just straight up dismiss him. And what's crazy is how condensed season one is compared to the
Yeah, I
following
forgot that.
thing.
You should when I saw episodes with you in season 1. That holy shit, those things go. Like
Yeah,
those
they're very.
episodes have a lot.
Yeah, I would argue that the first season is the most condensed in content and like plot lines,
Yeah.
and especially towards the last two episodes, it felt like a complete story. You
Mm-hmm.
had some loose ends, but overall, it was like a very like beginning to end
Mm-hmm. Right.
journey. Um,
Here, Nick, keep going. I'll be right back. I gotta get some water or something.
yeah, no problem.
I'll be right back.
I mean, like the biggest complaint, at least I'll bring it up before I start praising it because I don't
Sure.
want to leave this on a negative note because I do really enjoy the show. I just that the negatives become more apparent. They stick out way more.
Yeah.
So the biggest one for me is just it's just the entire development of Korra and her character development and just how she's treated by how people treat her when she makes a mistake
Mm-hmm.
for 4 seasons and each season's like around 13 to 12 episodes and they're 25 minutes long.
Yes.
And in the span of every single season, it's just so apparent that Korra just refuses to change. And when she does, it's at the end, it's at the literal last second when every mistake she's made has been done.
Right. She makes every wrong choice before she's like, "Oh, I should."
And literally, okay, I kid you not, Ian. Um, if you recall in season 4, it literally begins with her in the wheelchair with Katara during her rehabilitation,
Mhm.
and then she looks at Katara and says, "I'm in this wheelchair and I still can't figure out why." And I remember when the moment she said that line, I literally jumped out of my seat
Mhm.
and literally like screamed in my head, "Are you freaking kidding me? Is that actually real?"
I mean, do you think that that's is that a failure of writing, or is that a failure of the character in a story?
I think it's just how she. Yeah, I mean, it's always gonna be on the writer. I mean, the characters aren't real, but
Right.
like,
Well, I mean,
I'm just
maybe
saying it as if. Oh, go ahead.
maybe the better question: do you think that is? Do you think that is? Do you think that the writing is not serving a clear purpose when she's
Yes.
acting that way?
Oh my God, yes, dude. Okay. Chris isn't here, so I'm gonna say my really hot take.
Mhm.
Here's my hottest take of Legend of Korra. Ready,
Ooh,
Ian?
fire it off.
You're
Let's get
sitting.
it.
You're sitting down, right?
I'm sitting comfortably.
I think
Mhm.
at least by the end of season 4, it really cemented my feelings about it.
Yeah.
I think that Bolin is to Korra the way Rock Lee is to Naruto. I think Bolin embodies so much of what the Avatar needs to be ar- around the people he care about and to other humans.
Mhm.
So much more than Korra, because Bolin was actually Bolin actually was impartial, like in conflicts,
Yes.
and was actually a very lovable guy and very approachable to people.
Yes.
And he's always learning. And like the worst thing he's done was follow orders that he didn't know like what they were really the result of. Like he was naive at worst,
Sure.
but he corrected it by the end of 4.
Are you
And
talking
everyone
about
calls
Bolin?
Yeah.
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 And I said my hot take, Chris. You want to hear it again?
Which one? Mako's a bad person, and no one should like him.
My hot take is I think Bolin is to Korra the way Rock Lee is to Naruto. I think Bolin embodies what Avatar should be more than Korra
Okay.
needs to be to the people.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, if Korra did not have the Avatar state, and they told her season 4, like, you know what, I don't got time for you. Just do the Avatar state and get rid of the big bad for us.
Yeah.
That's how little faith they had in her by the end of by season 4. Like, if she didn't have the Avatar state, literally her biggest character trait is that she always acts first and thinks later.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like the reason why I was so frustrated by the 3rd and 4th season is because every time she makes a mistake, she would go up and say, "Hey, I'm sorry. That was my bad. I'll listen to you next time."
Yeah.
For the 8th time. And it's just like it's just a constant thing of I trust him, you tricked me, that's unfair, how dare you? No, I'm going to do it cuz I'm Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that a big part of her character development in the story is so she's essentially like the inverse as a character to Aang.
Yes.
She's a reversal of
Yeah, she's
his
supposed to be. Yeah.
of his character traits, which
Yeah,
is
okay.
go ahead.
I was going to say I completely understand like what she's intended to be compared to Aang.
Sure.
Like her intended like character. It's just that what frustrated me is every time she said she learned her lesson, it's after she messed up the 8th time, and every single time of those 8 times she said I learned my lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's undoing her own actions, because by the end of season 1 she's like, hey, you know what, Tenzin, I should listen to you more and I need to be more patient. My bad. Beginning of season 2, I'm gonna go with this waterbender because he has fun stuff for me to learn, like spiritual. Get the fuck out of here, Tenzin. I don't want to deal with you anymore.
I mean,
I can't wait. I can't wait anymore.
I understand the frustration with that, absolutely, but in a way that feels like a real person more so than anything is someone who has their problem pointed out to them and they're like, yeah, you know what, I need to work on that. And then
Ian, does a normal person end an entire lineage?
Okay, listen,
and then blame it on everyone else?
Her stakes are a lot higher. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but she's pretty though.
Yeah. So here's my thing, Ian. If that's believable too, that makes everyone around her either unbelievable or goddamn saints compared to with Patience of Infinity.
How?
Because at what point do you just cut someone out of your life, Ian?
They're literally.
doesn't Mako cut her out of his life for like 2 years? Like
Yeah,
for a very
doesn't
long
he
time.
actually? And Mako's bad.
Yes.
Mako's like not a good person. So,
So what I
like,
do, okay, sorry.
no. But like, I think you're right. Okay,
Okay.
you know,
Again, I'm
I can be
going.
turned around.
Yeah, again, I'm going off of like me just watching it,
Sure.
like fresh out of my mind, like every plot line.
Yeah.
So it's literally like my gut reaction to like
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
events. And again, like there's all the behind the scenes of like the issues with the staff, and then the issues with the network that they were having switching
yeah.
directors, and
That show
again, it's
you
like
watch and it screams like we have no idea if we're if we're gonna
Coming
keep
back.
going.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Steven Universe. Like if you watch it back to back, like it's very jarring.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
They don't get told beforehand, and
Because
go ahead.
so I was gonna say the reason why I was leaning more towards Bolin, uh, embodying more what the Avatar needs to be, is that given that what Tenzin asked of Korra to be patient, understanding, impartial, uh, be easy to approach, helping people out,
Mhm.
like those things. Um, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but Bolin did all those things, and what I did like was at the very least when Bolin made his mistakes, he was called out by it constantly, and then try to fix it as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And in season 4, again with Mako, like in the flashback episode when all the old characters are telling the new cast of characters what happened and to catch them up.
Mhm.
Um, apparently everyone calls Mako out on all the shit he did, lying to Korra when she lost her memory of them breaking up,
Yeah.
literally teasing and pulling Sumi's heartstrings for like 3 seasons essentially.
Yeah.
And then it's again like those are my biggest complaints. It just centered around the whole thing with Korra, and yeah, like my biggest frustration was just her saying, "I learned my lesson," and then it's like the cycle kept happening, and like
So here's a weird comparison I don't know that anybody's made, but I'll keep it really brief. So on the show Mad Men,
Don
with the UFO
Draper.
guy, or-
there's a character called Pete, and Pete is like this really entitled guy who was from a rich family, and he went to an Ivy League school because his parents could pay for it. And essentially, he was just like a spoiled brat forever.
Mm.
And he made it all the way until his like late 20s, acting like a goddamn man child.
Yeah.
And so like essentially he gets one of his coworkers pregnant, and then basically bullies her. He does a lot of shitty, terrible things
Yeah.
in the show. But then in like season 8, or like the end of the show, whenever it ended, I think it was season 8. There's like this very long period where he's been he volunteered to do some work out of New York in California, and he's been living in Santa Barbara. And there's just this scene where he comes back and he's not acting like a total piece of shit all the time. And also he has a tan. And everyone's like, "Wow, Pete, you're really different." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, I mean, I've been dealing with the divorce really well. I met this lady; she's really cool. And he's describing all these things like he suddenly has a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
He's not demanding people respect him. He's just doing the work and getting praise for the work he does. And it seems like he's learning, all this stuff. And he's like, and then so his coworkers are like, "Are you thinking about moving to California? It seems like you really like it." And he's like, "You can't live in a fantasy land forever. You got to get back to the real world."
Dang.
And then like he basically backslides the next 8 episodes of the season into becoming progressively shittier and shittier as he lives in New York longer.
Yeah.
I don't know, but for me, like that seems like an earnest reflection of him as a person. Like he is learning and trying to do better,
Yeah,
But also like
but some people are fucked.
some people are well. I mean, also like, it's hard to unlearn.
Yeah,
I don't know, like 30
years and
years
years. Yeah,
of living. Even
essentially
you know,
your entire upbringing.
exactly. So like, and here's where I'm bringing it in. Korra has a privilege unlike anybody else.
Oh
She is,
yeah,
she is a rich girl in
Oh,
her
like Naruto.
exactly.
yeah,
So I mean, there is potential for growth,
yeah.
but there's a lot against you.
There literally is a line where she goes, where her mom's like, "We wanted to give you a normal childhood," and she's like, "I wanted to be the Avatar, not a normal child."
Yeah.
And it's like,
I
well,
wanted to be
shit.
Hokage.
That's a mindset that you gotta get through, you know?
But it's not even like it's we can see it as externally we can see it as terrible and kind of toxic, but like
Yeah.
if you ask a kid, like if you ask a small child what they want to be and they said I want to be famous, like that's kind of devastating, but it's also like not it's not it's not inconceivable.
Yeah.
It's not like you wouldn't think like, whoa, why would the kid say that? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I know exactly why. It's very
And-
appealing.
And like a child saying that is like cute and adorable.
Okay.
And then like a teenager saying it is weird
Yeah.
and you worry for them.
And then
then,
if
Yeah.
they don't grow or advance,
and then you're like, I gotta get back to my day job. You do your thing.
I don't have time to worry about you. But yeah, I mean, I'm saying like, I take your point that she has people who are doing so much good by her, but there's there's only so much that can be corrected if you don't want the help. This is getting out of character study and more into my opinion on humans.
Unlike people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think because again, like,
Isn't that writing, Ian? It's
Okay.
supposed to be a mirror.
because I know we can all agree that, I mean, at least like writing wise, there's a lot of like amazing stuff and great pacing in Korra that happens.
There's a lot of really good ideas. Well,
Again, yeah.
finish your thing out before I get into what I think is fundamentally wrong with the show.
Well, the biggest thing is like, I do agree, Ian. Like, if we take it from like an ideal, like a concept point of what's happening to Korra, it is interesting and it is fascinating when you have such a stubborn, like kind of like character or like very adamant to be famous or to be that big thing, but then learning her limits of being an actual person and like she can't do all the things she really believes she could do by herself. And by the end of each season, it ends with her having the big fight, the Avatar big fight. But at the end, she has people around her save her or contribute to the fight more than she herself wanted it to be. So I was correct in that Korra, by book 1, she's 17. Like when she goes to Republic City, she's 17.
Yeah.
And then it's a span. Each season's a year, so it's like by the end of it, she's 21.
That's a wild set of 4 years.
Right?
Yeah.
So, because there's that big gap at 3. Remember, she's like
Dang.
recovering it 3 years.
So she
And
can be
then,
day drinking by like season 4 and 3.
Yeah.
and we don't know that she isn't.
we
Oh,
do.
well.
It's all implied off screen.
But yeah, the biggest issue we at least I agree with is that the execution is not where it could have been, and I think that's where a lot of frustration is, just that the wasted potential or like the execution isn't where people were hoping it was going to be.
Yeah.
And
And
I
wasted
think-
potential is worse than no potential.
I agree, because again, it had to follow Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A nigh
And-
perfect show, in my opinion.
So those are my complaints. That's again. I'll now go into like what I love about it.
Well, hang on. Can I say real quick what I think is fundamentally wrong? And,
Well, I was gonna say,
course-
I was gonna give it to you, and then
oh, okay, yeah. Of course, correct me if you've already said it though, because I went to go get water.
okay.
So real quick, fundamentally, what I think is wrong. with the show does center around the Equalists. So and we talked about how Avatar Korra is supposed to be the opposite of Aang, right? Just to that's their way of differentiating themselves from Avatar, is being the complete opposite from the first Avatar.
Mhm.
And Equalist is probably what I wanted from that show, in that it was very much like the most interesting thing. In this whole idea of of all benders being these privileged, superpowered beings who
Mhm.
make life essentially harder for everyone else.
Yeah.
Who they literally, I mean, you get that first chase in Korra where they go, "Hey, can you at least take the ice off the bridge? Because we have to go to work
Yeah.
and get around, and we can't wait for it to melt. We're gonna have to chip it down or something." And I don't know if she does. I think the scene kind of just ends with them looking at it and moving on. And then it becomes and then Amon shows up, and you have your central figure, and now it's Equalists are bad. They're just plain bad. They're trying to hurt people, and I would have loved if we kept exploring this whole notion of, yeah, like there are regular people in this world who have been at the whims of these superpowered beings. Essentially, the 100-Year War was nothing but people with fire bending abilities starting a war, and then only people with powers could keep going through it, and the cities were caught in the middle, um, with maybe their hopes of being a cabbage man who could create a play out of that type of thing. And that goes into the whole thing of the show probably didn't get a chance to do a whole overarching thing, and so we're left with these essentially monsters of the season type ordeals, rather than oh, let's actually talk about
Yeah,
this
they
whole great idea. Because
yeah they did
Equalists, I don't
rush
even
out.
think are mentioned after the first.
Only to bring up Amon, but that's about it.
Okay.
So I think that it's a valid complaint, especially I don't remember which of you said why did they disappear as a movement? Like just because
Yeah.
the leader ran away, that
Yeah.
doesn't totally gel. But I definitely think that the show probably would have benefited from having a season size the same as Avatar,
Yeah, probably would have.
21,
Mhm.
22,
Oh yeah.
and being able to explore that space so that you could have episodes where Korra has to address the real valid complaints, not just
Yeah.
I want a genocide and everybody who disagrees, it's either genocide or nothing. But there are people who are like, well, no, there are people who have an unfair advantage in this world and
Yeah.
kind of ruin my life.
That's why this tech exists, is because that's to level the playing field against superpowers.
And that's why this is so popular. Like to
Yeah.
actually dig into, well, no, there's a very valid reason people are upset and feel this way.
Yeah.
That a movement is created. I think they did a little bit better with season 4 with exploring at least the idea of how this kind of central national identity can build around and empower one person.
Yeah.
But still, I think all across the board, they would have all done better if they had more time to stretch it out and explore.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But that's my biggest complaint, and honestly, I don't know how you fix that in a studio where they're not even sure if they're going to keep going.
Yeah.
You know, because that's something you do at the get go.
Exactly. You've got to be promised. We're at minimum we're going to give you 22 episodes to start.
Yeah.
So you've got that to play with.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what'd you like about the show,
And
Nick?
yeah, I just want to get all that off my chest, just to get out of the way, so I don't end on a negative note, because I don't like doing that.
Uh-huh.
Because the whole being negative for the sake of negativity or positivity.
Yeah.
I just want to express my overall thoughts. Besides all that, and like both of you brought completely valid points on those matters, and I do agree. Um, what I do absolutely love is the whole arc with the first Avatar, with Avatar 1. I absolutely loved how not only did it bring about death into Korra's story, it also brought death into explaining how the nations became what they are and how the people who use certain elements develop certain styles and develop and you and I'm sorry, use certain personalities with them. And they brought back the turtles that Aang took inspiration from to remove bending or to give bending. And I absolutely love the art style and the pacing entirely for Avatar 1 story. I thought that the whole conflict of humans versus spirits I really enjoyed. I thought that was really that and the Equalists I thought were really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and one thing I really did like again like it's all about like the concepts and like just what they throw at you. I thought having a season 3 in which you had not only benders, new airbenders, and them essentially trying to rebuild a civilization that was lost for the longest time. That everyone was adamant was not going to come back.
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing, and then between that, the main story of these prisoners using bending in such a unique and cool way that each encounter, like I absolutely loved. I absolutely loved also exploring Metal City. I forgot the name of it, but
Oh no, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
yeah. And you get like lava bending. You get like a prisoner who can fly by the end of it.
Yeah, season 3 is like my favorite one by far.
Like when he jumps off that cliff and flies, like that's a genuine like jaw drop. That's like a genuine twist. Like I was legit blown away by. And it's tough. It's tough to because yeah, everything else about it I really dug. Again, like it's just again at the end of the day, it comes down to like what they throw at you versus like how they go about it and how they approach it is definitely where the complaints come from. But beyond that, the fighting's fantastic. Some of the character development and pacing I absolutely loved. Again, the whole thing with Bolin, like I really did enjoy how quickly, at least writing wise, they made him try to fix his problems as quickly as possible, trying to make amends.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely loved in season 4 the flashback episode where when they're on the boat and then I forgot his name, Viral, or what's the inventor's name, the billionaire,
Oh,
do the thing.
Julie, Mr. Julie.
No, that's his assistant.
But the guy who's not Julie.
Yeah, the tech billionaire.
Yeah, I know, I know.
But when
It's
he tells
Mr.
on the
Silicon
boat,
Valley.
Silicon Valley, yes. Him telling the whole story to the boat, his interpretation, and it's like essentially this bit of all the past villains, like on the phone line,
Yeah.
and then that was actually really good.
They probably wanted another play episode.
Ember Island, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, having the announcer in the beginning of episodes to catch everyone up, or his interpretation of events was great.
The 1920s radio guy, yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
That scene when they're in the arena and then they're showing off the Nuktuk movie, and he's doing announcements from the stands.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like the more we went to season 3 and 4, the more I was thinking, or at least the more I was hoping there would at least be a rogue faction of Equalists.
Yeah.
That would come back and
Yeah, would come back and at least talk about it because it's definitely, I don't know.
They just come back. Hey, you guys, don't forget about us.
No, the Avatar state though. You see that cool spirit mech we had in season 2? Like, fight that. Like, that's your
Man, and going off like the way I would have done Korra, like, hang on, like You're talking about the number one thing, the Avatar Juan thing.
Oh, get it,
Get
one,
it, get
one.
it.
The first one.
Anyway, his 2 episodes ends with him realizing that just one person, even if they're the Avatar, can't solve
Yeah.
the nation's problems.
Again.
And wouldn't that have been great if that's what the show was about?
Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if Korra, when she opened her eyes, realized she can't do everything herself
Yeah.
and not end an entire lineage because
Yeah.
she thought she can save everyone?
Or if the big problem of uniting everyone and like creating peace, was bigger than her. Was bigger than whatever the Avatar could be.
But yeah, I was honestly legit tearing up when I saw Iroh,
Yeah.
and that he chose to be with the spirits instead of like with his son.
That was my thing. He doesn't get a conversation with his son, but like,
Yeah.
you can interpret it as his burden is he never gets
gets
to
further.
reconcile
Yeah.
with his mistake.
Well, that's a cool note to end that.
That is a cool note. Iroh's cool. Anyway,
Iroh's cool,
Nick,
and
what
I
else? What
thought-
else even? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was gonna top it off by saying I thought Tenzin exploring with his siblings was cool when they went to the fog of the fog of the lost spirits,
Oh,
Yeah, that part was cool.
and you find General Iroh there. No, General
Zhao.
Ciao.
General Zhao there, just stumbling around saying he's gonna catch the Avatar.
I killed the moon one time.
Killed the moon. I did that.
I did that. Me. Yeah, show's good.
It's pretty good.
It's good. It's a good, complicated
Pretty good.
relation.
I'm still going through Persona. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're going through Persona.
I am. I'm still. I'm not. I know I'm not halfway there. I'm still like. I'm almost done with the first quarter because Golden's very long.
Wait, well, tell me where you're at. I can probably ballpark where you're at.
Well, I mean, I told on stream when we were doing our last stream of Deli P to
Uh-huh.
Ian. I'm still waiting for Kanji to recover.
Oh, dude, you're probably not
And
even
then-
20% done.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say a quarter. That game's long.
Okay. So should I just move on or?
You can keep going. Like, no, you like
Wait,
just
what was
keep.
that? Yeah, you could try. Yeah, I want to see.
Just, no, just the whole. Oh wow, did he make it further? And it's now like, well, no, you still got a long.
Yeah, sorry, I can't go fast. I don't know.
No, it's all. No, man, take your
Thank you for
time.
apologizing. Really.
Take it. Go at your face. It's a long game, man. It's like 200 hours.
That's so many hours.
I mean, the other stuff we did, I did was mostly with Chris. I mean, we can now.
Yeah.
I think by now we can just transition to your thing because I took up most of it talking about Korra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. What do I do? As far as I haven't sadly read too much lately. I've just been reading articles, but like, just because I can read them in one short sitting. What have I played? I played Mortal Shell, which is that new very Dark Souls like game. Overall, I think it's good, especially for a small team making it and like very well polished. There are a lot of problems I do have. There's a lot of moments where you enter a doorway and you just get whacked for entering a doorway. A lot of monster closets. The combat's fun. I like that the whole world is actually kind of smaller than you think it is. And you can go to places fairly quickly if you know the map and like even clear it out if you get good enough. The art's stellar. Some of those environments are definitely like, if not Wayne Barlow or Zdzislaw Viksinski inspired. A little bit of MC Escher there.
Ooh.
Very metal. Very
brutal.
Yeah, very brutal. Very brutal. Very metal. It's fun to play. I haven't gotten all the story bits, but it's definitely a more concise story than probably most of Dark Souls. No, I just thought it was a really good game. It's like $40. I think it's good for that price. It's very hard at the beginning, I think. But I guess any Souls is like that because you're learning a completely new system and you are weak as fuck at the beginning. But eventually, like the stronger I got, the more fun I definitely was having. I thought that's where the balance was coming out. That's pretty much. I don't think I played too many new things. I'm still going with the streams. As far as things I've watched, I finished the new season of Agritsuko.
Okay.
Which I think I've talked about before. The reason I love that show is because it reminds people why metal needs to exist, and the soul-crushing mundanity of day jobs.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
This season was very much more on just Agritsuko getting, or Retsuko becoming more self-actualized and figuring out what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
And Haida just being a fucking moron in like love specifically. And all the characters are screaming at Haida going, "You're an idiot. Dude, she's all over you. And you're not about that dog." There's a dog named Inui and like she's like all over him. She's very, very not aggressive, but I guess I wouldn't call I would, you know what? I would call it aggressive for Japanese love. For Japanese
she knows
couples.
what she's about.
Oh yeah, she goes for it. She goes for it because she realizes very early on Hyde is a fucking moron when it comes to that shit.
Okay.
It's still good, man. Still good voice acting. It's just a fun show. Definitely.
They're on 3 now. Season.
Yeah,
4?
they're on 3. They're on 3. They are on 3, and the episodes are short. They're like 15 minutes.
I think I'm at season 2, but I may need to like rewatch some of it. But I've definitely finished all of 1.
Okay.
I loved it. I really liked that show.
Oh yeah. It's just a good solid show.
Does the gorilla and the ostrich come back?
Hell yeah, dude. Gory's the best.
I love them.
Yeah, Gory's fucking hero. Let's see what else I watch. We saw did a Bill and Ted marathon.
Oh wow.
With Nick. Watched the first 2 because I love those movies. That first one's still good. Still holds up.
Mm-hmm.
Second one, not as good as I remember it. It's still like decent 80s movie.
Okay.
But 1 is still probably better. It's more fun. I think overall. Although Death in 2 is probably the best acting in like most of those movies. I forget who he plays. It's a German guy, I think. Is it William Sadler? No. Maybe. He's either way. Death is great.
Yes.
In that fucking the whole. I still think like the whole games with the Reaper is like one of the best scenes in the entire franchise.
What if we did Twister?
Best 3 out of 5.
Such a good.
Just how slow that battleship part is. It's like they drew it out for exactly how long that joke needed to be.
Yes.
The first episode, I didn't know this, man. Like there are some people in that. Like I haven't watched it in a while, but there are people in that movie. Like the guy who plays Billy the Kid is the same guy who plays Tron.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. The Joan of Arc is the singer of the Go-Go's.
Okay.
And whoever plays Socrates, I know he was like I know he's like a theater actor. The guy who plays Socrates is fantastic. Yeah. Just that emoting.
Great performance.
Yeah. But either way, I'll get to the third movie. Have you seen it?
I have not seen it, but go ahead. I'm gonna watch it eventually. I don't know when, but
okay, it's totally worth your time. It's really good, actually. I think I like it more than the second movie.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's funnier. I think the jokes. Well, maybe because it's more. Maybe because there's more experience now, but
Sure.
like, or it's been a long time. But I think the jokes are funnier, straight up. Um,
Okay.
it leans more into the kind of dumbness of the entire thing.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, you still get the fun time traveling. Whoever they get to play the daughters were great. I gotta relook up who they were because I hadn't seen them before. Kristen Shaw's in it.
Oh shit, Kristen Shaw's in it?
She plays George Carlin's daughter.
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, yes.
Oh my god.
She's great. They get back the Ted's dad. What's his name?
The guy who played Ted's dad?
Yeah. God, he's old now, man. He was already like up there, but he's still like a fantastic actor.
I'm sure.
Like every
him
time I've
way
seen him
more.
in something, I always forget his name, but he's a phenomenal actor
Mhm, mhm.
because he plays the part that he looks so well, which is just like kind of like curmudgeon dad, you know.
Yeah, that's really funny.
So he's back. I think it's the original person who plays Missy. Oh man, when you find out what they do with Missy, it's a genuinely funny bit, and I'm glad they kept it going. Because the whole thing is like the first movie, Missy like marries Bill's dad, even though she was a senior when he was a freshman.
Yes.
And then the next movie, she's married to Ted's dad,
Mhm.
and then you'll find out who she's married to now in the third movie. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I have assumptions. That means
Okay.
she's moving up. So
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Interesting, you think that?
Is it
All right,
death?
you'll find out. You'll find out. You'll
it's
find
an
out.
older man. It's an older
You'll
man.
find
It's
out.
death.
It's
I'm
death.
Want to see that?
I do want to see that real.
God,
Why
it's
was he
like
just settling down. Oh, God.
I'm still surprised he's in this third one, man. I didn't know they like who they get back is pretty great.
Oh, so they do have people from the first and second.
Yeah.
Tight. Okay.
The as per keeping up tradition, the two princesses they're married to are not played by the same people from the first and or second movie because they changed it every movie.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if you knew this. The first movie was filmed and it was shelved for like a year and a half.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. And then someone finally was able to pick it up to publish.
Right.
And then it was there. And then like 2 years later, the second movie comes out.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, the music choice is fantastic. The guitar solos are great. The song they play it for laughs at the beginning, for during the wedding. At first it's like yeah, it's supposed to be funny, and then as it kept going, I was going, wait, this song's pretty good actually. Why is everyone kind of against this? I guess because it's at a wedding. Am I the crazy one? is this a bad song that I really really like?
You're all dumb. I know what I am.
There's throat singing going on. Like, come on,
Oh my
you
God.
people are impossible.
Yeah,
No,
it's quite cute to understand.
This song has everything that a real artist would love.
so I really do like the first two movies as like 80s films, and I just love it. Yeah, the third one's really good actually. It's really really worth your time. I would say definitely check it out, Ian.
Sounds good. I definitely will.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my god. What else? What else did I? God, I feel like I
Paranoid
haven't
Agent.
done anything too exciting to talk about because it's all either looking for work and or trying to do a project. So
Hey, Chris,
and hunting for a major. Yeah,
how did you feel about Paranoid Agent?
that's right. Yeah, I did finish that. So I finished Paranoid Agent. Oh, I think I talked about it last podcast.
I think we might have talked about it.
Or was it when we were just hanging out?
I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, me neither. They all blend together. All right,
You just wanna
I'll
skip that or
no. I'll give at least a small summarization of what I think, and if like people are like, oh yeah, you never talked about it, I'll get more into it. Paranoid Agent, I loved. Absolutely see what's going on. Two, it's very obvious why he wasn't taken up for any more anime series
sure wasn't.
or not movies. Very Twin Peaks inspired, but not like, blatantly taking stuff from it.
But dream logic, definitely.
Yeah. And I think, and like people always go, yeah, like it's kind of a confusing show. And I went, no, I think the characters tell you straight up at some points what the show's about.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, why is that important that the show's about that is where you got to go.
I guess
Like,
the message just isn't for everyone.
maybe.
I mean, that could
It could be because it's about mass hysteria and like not just mass hysteria, but like how we're able to like buy in to certain truths or not even certain truths, beliefs so easily.
There are certain things that are upsetting and terrible that are comforting.
Yeah.
We are comforted by certain types of awful things.
And also we just love corporate shit. We
Yeah.
love what they put out for all of us to buy to the point that people suffer for this product just so you can consume and have a little keychain,
That's right.
And like he's very much pulling up his curmudgeon about like industry and like not just in anime but in pretty much Japanese society.
Well, the idea of like you need a cutesy mascot to market a thing. You're not actually making like it's not important that you make a story, that you make a show. You're making a product.
You're making something that these people, yeah, because the anime doesn't come till way later. You're after its popularity.
Yeah.
And it's something for everyone to buy into at this moment. I can go more into depth, but I feel just for the sake of in case I've already talked about this, I won't go on like a big thing about every little thing I think the show's about. I mean, the acting is great, the art's phenomenal, the animation's phenomenal. Like what else is there to say, man? He's a phenomenal director.
He really was a master of what he did.
Yeah. And what else is there to say? If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Fucking classic. And that fucking intro pops. It's just
Sure
fucking
Sure does.
fucking love it. Let's see what. Didn't I watch another anime, man? Oh, I started watching Great Pretender. Haven't finished.
What do you think of it thus far?
It's great. Well, we finished the first two parts,
Okay.
so I gotta get on to the third. I love it. I think it's the art style, the animation's great, the background's great, the intro and outro are fucking rad. The first part being in LA, since and I don't think it's been any secret we're from LA, we're all from LA or live in the LA area.
Sure.
So you're just looking for shit. And you're like, well, that's too nice. That looks too. They got the traffic thing right, I guess. And then he gets picked up at LAX, and I went, wow, that was way too easy. For what? I hope someone got fired for that, for not being realistic. And they're like Beverly Hills, and I go, oh, that's the 405 and that's that underpass. He's coming from that side. I think I might know where that's at. If they, oh god, LA sucks, man. Yeah, you're like, I'm pretty sure he's cooking drugs in the arts district, but like, who knows? Like, but yeah, it's a phenomenal show, and like, so far it's great. I'm loving every bit of it. Loving every bit of it. Oh, that show gets real, like in some places. Like really just like when they go into people's background stories of why why are they or grifters?
Right.
And you got to realize like people who do this for a living at this level are have probably experienced things that are so fucked up that this is what it's come to.
This is not because they thought it'd be cute and fun to do.
Yeah, like you find out why the main character's dad was arrested, and what that does to his mom, and then you find out, oh god, what's her name? That's the pixie haircut, and I'm forgetting her name now. Either way, she's a child soldier, and holy fuck, is that like a fucking reveal?
You mean the Casca haircut?
Yeah, the Casca haircut.
Like Ramona Flowers.
Oh, wait, really? Is that what it?
Yeah.
No, I thought a pixie haircut like flares up.
But you thought it was Casca? You saw Casca and thought she was a pixie?
No, what? Hang on. Because I think you're thinking of a bop, but it's funny. Listen, I'm gonna reveal right now how little I know about hair. Oh yeah, I was wrong. No, wait, no. Look.
How? How do I look?
Hang on, I'm gonna
What does
post
they
shit.
look?
I'll send it to you. We'll talk about this. I'll get the hair shit right. Someone's fucking shaking their head. Yeah, Chris, you don't know shit. Probably. I don't think I do.
Say it to my face. Yeah.
I know what a pixie haircut is. No,
I'll see you at SummerSlam.
see you at SummerSlam. Yeah, still haven't watched that. I don't know if I will. I'm like, dude, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, been playing more Fall Guys. I got 3 crowns.
So fun, you guys.
It's really
a fun game.
It really is. It'll also make you salty as all hell. Yo, man, that game proved to me, because I play fighting games, right? I play fighting games a lot, and I play with a lot of people, and I'm not that good at them. So I thought I finally was able to, I think I got the salt at video games thing controlled, right? And I started playing Fall Guys, and then I realized, nope, I just needed new things to get me get at me.
Okay.
No, it's fun, man. That game is fucking fun. You just got to go in like know that the hand of God at any moment can come down and tell you were not meant to win.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm only at like 3. I think I'm only at 3 crowns. So
And when you get 5 crowns, you level up and you become a bigger Fall Guy.
you become a bigger bean. Yeah. They're called beans. I think at this point.
That's perfect. I've seen the design on them.
Yeah. Perfect.
You can literally slap anything on that and brand it.
Oh yeah, people are doing it. Like, I think at one point they were like, "Yo, what company wants to pay this much money and we'll put it in the game?"
It's a great idea.
It is a good idea. It's a really good idea.
This is now dethroned. What's the game? Fortnite.
Oh, has it?
Well, I mean, it's certainly edging in, and
Yeah.
Fortnite lost a lot of money because of the Apple debacle recently.
Yeah, I've been following that thing.
That's right, everyone. I follow some news.
Yeah.
How you do, fellow
I know.
kids?
Look at Ian. I was like considering, do I address some game news, because I know people are gonna want like my quote unquote take, which is, but most of the time it's me going, they're all companies and they're all fucked and they're all gonna try to fuck you over.
Yeah.
So I will say about this, it's a very complicated situation that I'm not going to get into explaining everything now, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get something wrong that people can look into. I will say overall, this is probably a fight that needs to happen, because yeah, it is a monopoly of like where apps go on phones and how much fucking money they're taking, which is like I think 30% of all profits.
It's 30% as a standard rate.
Yeah. For everything. Whereas you can't really download an app on your phone without going into that store.
That's true.
Or using their software.
Yeah.
So it's a fight that needs to happen. I hate both companies. So
There's not really a winner that you want necessarily.
No.
They're both self-interested.
Yeah.
And whatever way that they phrase it, like it's not like either of them are actually.
Yeah.
Let's take it from this perspective. Like in this specific circumstance where they're taking 30%, it's not like they're taking 30% out of hungry mouths of children. They're
Yeah.
from people who already have a fuck ton of money already.
Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, small developers do have a hard time putting apps on
No,
phones and everything. So again, it's a fight that needs to happen, and I guess a big one had to do it in order to have the money do the legal battle.
sure.
Having said that, do not at all believe Epic Games is a good company. Oh my god, if you have not been using the Epic Game Store or following that shit, they are also as evil as the corporation can be, and are also trying to monopolize on downloadable market for computer games. And that's the whole thing. So do not for a second buy into Fortnite or 1980 Fortnite and that commercial. Which, by the way, who's that for? The fucking kids that are playing this game who, like, I don't even know if my parents were old enough for that commercial.
to see the.
No, they probably were.
Think outside the. What was it? Was the Apple? Apple?
Yeah, it was Apple to Microsoft, and it's them. Think outside the box or something. You're like, to know that commercial. I only know that commercial because of, like, you know, I look into pop culture stuff and like, well,
you're a
that's a
nerd.
reference. I'm a fucking nerd, so like, it's just fucking Jesus Christ, dude. Anyway, it's a fight. Yeah, it's a fight that needs to happen. But like I say to everyone, they are companies. They are not your friends. They are not people. They are gonna do whatever they can to separate you from your money.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I agree.
Which leads me to another thing. Me and Nick started watching some of the Gamescom stuff. I haven't gone to finish. Although I did do a roundup, and it was pretty much, I've seen everything I would want to see. But at the same time, I'm watching that and I go, I know people have asked me, like, Chris, would you ever do a live stream of you guys watching one of the game announcements since you guys play games on your Twitch channel? And all I can think of is that it would suck for people who watched it, because it would just be me and Nick talking about how fucked the game industry is. And how they're lying to us to our faces right now.
But hey, if you want to see that,
if you want to see that, go. Yeah, let me know. Let me know if you want to see a curmudgeon who's been like through this, who's been through this ringer so much, and just going, well, that's fucked.
Just periodically interrupt people to say bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
And who hates most of those like premiere stuff and just watches the trailers afterwards.
Yeah.
So I don't have to deal with it. But yeah, let me know. Is that something you're into?
Let us know in the comments.
Don't forget your history, though.
Don't forget, dude. Okay. And that's the other things I want to talk about, because I know Ian would get a kick out of it. Yeah. Ian, do you know anything about the new Call of Duty that was announced?
Okay, so I know that people are upset. And that's it. That's all I know about it. That's all I know about it. People are really upset.
Do you know what the new Call of Duty is, Ian?
I'm ready. I don't know.
All right, Call of Duty Cold War. It's about the Cold War, man. Ronald Reagan is in it. He's a character.
Cool.
He has all the answers.
Yeah.
So here's my immediate reaction.
I don't know if they're gonna do the dementia thing. I don't know, and we can. I don't think so, because Call of Duty is very much a propaganda machine for the U.S. Army, and like, I doubt they're gonna do anything to portray them in a negative light.
So what I wanted to ask was, because I know that Call of Duty has gotten in trouble before for it had like something to do with terrorists in an airport at some point, and it was very poorly written.
Yeah, that was one. The last game is very much pro extra legal violence and torture and one of the perks is white phosphorus, which
Oh my god.
that's appropriate.
Chemical warfare.
Yeah, and
You
that's where we
guys-
get that famous
Yeah.
video of that kid with white phosphorus is my favorite Call of Duty perk.
What is the? I'm not familiar.
I think that's the name of the video, and like,
Jesus Christ.
uh,
Okay, so it's the Cold War.
So
So are you actually? So are
I
you
can hear all the
actually-
questions forming in the inside. Like,
Ian.
Yeah.
Ian, before you ask him,
Yeah.
need I remind you that the developers of the past 2 games have said that their games are not political, and that they try their hardest to make an impartial view on the franchise and the subject matters.
I think. Thank you for sharing that. Context. I appreciate that. I
In
appreciate
addition,
that. Mhm,
second
mhm.
point,
Mhm.
the last Warzone game,
Yeah.
they did bring up Highway of Hell,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
but instead
yeah.
of U.S. troops that did it, it was evil Russians that tricked innocent
Oh.
U.S. troops.
Oh,
to
they
commit
tricked it.
Trust,
We would-
yeah.
yeah.
We'd never do. We would. Okay.
You would never
Like-
do that,
So
Ian.
go ahead, Ian.
So my friends, what I wanna know first, I've got 2 questions, and they're almost the same question.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this may not be something that the company has announced yet. Do you go to Latin America in this game?
I don't know.
In this game,
I
no.
bet you
In
yes.
Modern Warfare 1 and 2, yes, you did a lot of times.
Yeah.
Do you go to?
I think
Asia?
there was one level that was in the favela. It was the
There's one in Brazil. I
yeah.
remember that in Modern Warfare 2.
The thing is, if you're gonna do a game about the Cold War, and so where my mind immediately went is like the Contras and that part of the Cold War.
They
And
won't do
like,
it.
They don't think they'd touch that. That's too.
Ronald Reagan's
Mm.
a hero. They won't do it.
They won't do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ian,
Yes.
Ian.
Yes.
do you know about the failed video game project called 2 Nights in Fosse?
Do you mean 6 Days in Fallujah?
6 Days in Fallujah. My bad.
I think
I was looking for it right now, Nick. Like just
I think I had vaguely heard something about that. Could you fill me in?
Okay. So you don't need to be an historian to figure out why that's a bad idea for a video game to
Oh my
entertain
God,
people.
I have some quotes.
You press the button to be entertained. So at least they quickly knew that was a bad idea.
I don't know if they knew or if the whole world had to remind them that.
Yeah.
Because, like, when that game was announced, people who were in Fallujah and who had been part of that
Sure.
were, like, maybe in their 30s or, like, younger.
Yeah.
And most of them went, "What the fuck are you doing?"
So here's another one. I think it's maybe even the same company. I was watching a press release recently for a video game that is essentially it's a sequel to a video game that came out just a couple years ago. I'm trying to find the name of it in my mind. So the original game was about a New York City that was under attack, and you were fighting. This sequel game is about the entire U.S. government has fallen, and you're in the Washington Capitol fighting some kind of invading force.
Right. Oh, that one was, I think that was an Ubisoft game. That was a Tom
Yes.
Clancy game.
Yes. So they also wanted to make very clear that they are not a political entity and they're not making a political statement with the video game, except that like all of it, except potentially all of it's political in theory. Like, because I
Yeah.
think like the opening, like I watched a little bit of the actual game, and they like spell out that like there's a handful of American rebels that are still surviving from this, alien force that has invaded the Capitol. And the only people who survived are the people who stockpiled guns in their house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which like you're allowed to think whatever you want to think. but like that is a political feeling. Like
Yeah.
that's
No,
like,
it's a
you don't-
take. You're saying these people would survive and everyone else wouldn't.
exactly.
That's what you're saying by by saying that.
You're saying like in this hypothetical that who knows how hypothetical it is.
Yeah.
We think the only people who live are the people who have all the submachine guns under their floorboards. But yeah, I mean it's just very strange that the idea of here's the other thing is like it cuts both ways. I think that like the Wolfenstein games are ultimately political in that but like the primary thrust of it is Nazis are terrible.
Yeah.
So it's a relatively non-controversial view. But
yeah.
But it's not like you get to opt out of. You don't get to make art in a vacuum. You have to acknowledge that you exist in a world, and there are things that are related, and even if you're maybe not intending to make X as a point, like it's gonna be read that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you're also talking to someone who believes all art is political on some level, whether it tries to be or not to be. And in fact, the stance of trying not to be political is itself a statement. But so this fucking war video game about the Cold War, one of the most a war that was fought almost entirely in politics and political choices that affected how we interact with other countries. They immediately wanted to show us they had no balls, these developers, by putting out the statement a couple days ago that this game is not political. We're going to be trying to be as apolitical as possible.
Wow.
There it is. Fuck off. Go fuck yourself. Go if you're gonna chop off your balls in front of us. Can you God? Anyway,
both ways. You don't get to have it both ways. And again, I'm not going to say I'm not necessarily expressing a specific opinion that I have. But you can't deny that, as you said, these games are very pro-U.S. military. And
they're funded by the U.S. military, some of them.
And they very much put people who play these games in a position to feel empowered and as if most video games are power fantasies. And the game ostensibly, as Nick said, this is from the position of Reagan is the hero of the story.
Yeah.
So we're not looking at certain aspects, and so that is a political pitch.
Oh yeah.
You can't avoid that. Yeah.
No. And God, what was I just about to say? Holy shit. The U.S. military funds it. And we just had that whole thing of a bunch of Twitch streamers who were part of the military using Twitch streams as a recruitment tool for kids who watch these sorts of video games because they're not political and they're not going to have a bias towards the soldier that is being portrayed, the Superman. Fuck, dude, it's all fucked. Fuck, video games suck. It is like the more if people ask me, Chris, you've been following video games pretty much your entire life, what's the one thing you can take away is that video games suck. And
they're bad and they're terrible.
And most video game companies are awful.
Yeah, man, I can't So I'll be honest, I've been trying to keep up with news feeds about video games just so I can kind of chime in.
Oh, good luck. Well, actually it's been slower because of everything with COVID.
True. The only thing that I've been hearing about is Ubisoft is a bad place.
Oh, okay, so I was going to get to that. Yeah. Okay, so Ubisoft's been through a lot of shit. Deservedly. Very much deservedly. And in fact, I don't think they've gotten enough for everything that's been going on and are trying to sweep shit under the rug, as most companies do. But have you seen that mobile game they put out or that trailer?
No, I've not seen the new
Okay. You kind of just have to watch it to believe it. So I'll send it to you after this podcast
Okay.
because we're running low on time anyway.
All right.
But essentially, what that mobile game is about, and they, at least from what the trailer portrays it as, is there is civil unrest going on at home in America, and oh no, there is chaos. And it's literally the shot starts from the back of these like military people holding off protesters, and it goes through the cracks. Yeah, dude, goes through the cracks, and oh no, there's there's an evil group of people who are using the civil unrest to have a stranglehold on the world and take it over. And they're called Umbra. They're called Umbra. It sounds scary. Um, and the militaries of the world's nations get together in order to put a force to stop these people who are hacking social media, who are instigating more of the violence that are going on with civil unrest, to squash that team. And you're going to be part of this kill squad to take them out.
You're gonna go kill hackers.
You're gonna go kill hackers. You're gonna go kill people who are against. And it's using this civil unrest as a backdrop. The stuff that's going on right now, right today, as a backdrop for this fucking game where you play as a kill squad to do extra legal activity. And they at one point trailer says we're not gonna play by the rules anymore. So and like so I guess fuck the Geneva Conventions is what they're saying. And and you play as this squad, you play as this military squad in order to quash it.
I mean, yeah, man. Like, there's just like, I know that we're talking about media. We're really a media kind of program. We talk about art and things like that. But in this specific context, man, like, these are real people, really living these things.
It's going on right now. Okay, the term tone deaf is used a lot in video games, man. But like,
Gamer Girl was pretty bad.
Gamer Girl was pretty. This is right now. I would argue worse. Like, Gamer Girl's really bad, but this is a whole movement, and especially where video games have a high have a high player base who are definitely against these protests and are probably right-wing conservative and are like it's definitely not a welcoming sort of place.
Well, I mean, just to kind of let me pull in from our last conversation we had where we were talking about Last of Us and people's horrible piss baby reaction to stuff in that game. Like, I think that does speak to a certain kind of mentality that people certainly have, or at least that there's an attitude that is allowed to be unchallenged, and when it is, it's really not met well at all. When people try and address those things.
Oh yeah.
Like having a meaningful talk about something like that is difficult, I would say.
Yeah.
And I'm someone who's, I don't really play games that much, so I'm very outside of that sphere. But even looking from the outside, that's how it seems to me.
Like, it's no, that's bad. It's fucked.
So one of the things is that as more of these games come along that do these sort of things, the more they kind of, in a way, prove Spec Ops: The Line's point. And well, what sucks is I can't go into it because spoilers. But
no, go ahead.
Chris, are you sure?
Well, I know what point you're getting at, where basically these video games are perpetuating like a certain thing, right? Like Video Game Hero Man, or like video game Soldier Man, right? Like, and I know
Yeah.
it's supposed to be doing the opposite of that, where you're not the hero. That's as much as I know about Spec Ops.
Mhm.
As for how and why, I don't know the finer details in that game.
I'll just leave it at that then.
Oh,
All I'll say is that I I sometimes have a hard time discussing with other people that are really into these games
oh,
this kind of topic because I think because there's that detachment, right? That it's just a game.
yeah,
That it shouldn't matter too much because it's just a video game.
yeah,
And I guess that's as far as a conversation
yeah.
can go, is that it's just a piece of media, and then like
And
whatever
then the
you
thing is, well, if it's just a video game,
well,
why are they putting so much work into
well
this into this worldview?
Right.
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, yeah,
So I just it's weird when I try to explain that these games are just propaganda. Like we can't sit. I don't understand why it's such a thing people have to dance around
yeah.
because they can't admit that they're enjoying propaganda.
Mhm.
I guess because people have very set ideas of what propaganda looks like all
Yeah.
the very
No
old
one ever
posters.
thinks they're dumb enough to fall for it.
It's like the placebo thing, right? Like everyone
Yeah,
thinks, oh, I would totally notice if I'm having a placebo effect. Like
yeah,
they completely underestimate how strong fooling ourselves is, and that actually goes into Paranoia Agent because Paranoia Agent is about removing yourself from responsibility through fantasy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And in Paranoid Agent, each character had a fantasy of their own or their own escape from their
From reality.
responsibilities.
Yeah,
And it's tough because with these games for Call of Duty, I remember being asked, why is it that people in the military, especially during the height of the Afghan war, were playing these games and playing Modern Warfare 1 and 2, especially,
uh huh.
given that they're living it. And I know Game Informer did great articles on it, along with Robert Evans from Cracked.
Yeah,
The consensus is that it's because when you in the game when you shoot these characters, Ian, they don't they just drop. They don't scream.
Don't bleed.
yeah.
They don't bleed. They
Okay.
just drop. So it's just it's essentially it's the same. It's the same as punching a pillow. Like it's just
Yeah,
is what they're doing. It's just like a way to relieve the stress by just in a way.
And I recall, correct me if I'm mistaken, but I recall there being stories back when I was in school, back when I was still in high school, that recruitment offices were using these video games in their offices
oh, absolutely.
as a
Yeah.
piece of recruitment equipment.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have to get them while they're young, dude.
Yeah.
You have
They
to
also
you have
don't
to
tell
get
you-
them while it's easier to influence.
Yeah, and they also don't tell you that you can get off the bus at any moment. They just push so much pressure on the kids and parents that they have to stay on the bus or in the camps.
Yeah,
But on paper, since since the Patriot Act, anybody that doesn't like it, you just walk away. But no one's told that.
Right.
Hmm.
Because, I mean, several reasons that are very complicated. We can't get into all of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we're definitely at the end of the day, we're definitely not experts on it, but we have to know this much now because of how fucked everything is.
It's just man, so two things I want to throw out really quick. I know we're coming towards the end and we got to start wrapping up. Sorry, but one is I just kept while you guys were going over this, I just kept thinking about how out of place culturally that one episode of BoJack Horseman is.
Oh, which one?
The one where he makes Patton Oswalt really mad that he stole his muffins.
Uh-huh.
And essentially the culmination of that episode is him saying something that I honestly don't know that I've seen in a piece of American media, where he basically says, like, I feel kind of onerous having to say all the troops are heroes all the time. What about the ones that are assholes? And like even framed as a joke,
Yeah.
I think that's an incredibly transgressive thing to say. Still,
Yeah.
it is an unthinkable thing to.
And it's pretty fucked up that it's like that.
Yeah, to in any way at any time say like, well, or do we have to unilaterally feel this way about everybody constantly, no matter what, no matter the context?
Yeah.
That we can't, and I think that attitude is a part of the exact things that we've been, talking about the last few minutes.
Mhm.
And then to wit, the exact same thing when you see those vehicles in
My bad.
when you see those vehicles in that trailer that you described,
Yes.
pulling into domestic American cities, like that's probably a real mental whiplash that a lot of people go through, because this doesn't make sense, because we know that, because you're it's hard baked into you. Well, the people who wear that and who drive that and who look like that, they are heroes, they are good people, and they are vanquishing what is wrong and wicked in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
can't.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you can't. Well, basically, you can't question the unquestionable war.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And whatever the war at the time is the unquestionable war. Sorry, that was a really political position I had.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because it's like this conversation just keeps happening every time games like this come out.
Yeah.
And again, it's just like they know they can't say it's propaganda, but at this point, everyone very much knows,
or
who
should
these games
know.
are for. Yeah.
Well, I mean, guys, it's like, here's what it's, and then like to the idea of people knowing whether or not they're ingesting propaganda. It's like, let's say you potentially a part of some group of people who had like a collective identity. I don't want to say which, any old group of people.
Mhm.
And there was like some media group that explicitly only told your side of the story and villainized everybody else. MSNBC. Or hypothetically, like, I don't think that people don't know it's not propaganda. I think a lot of times people are like, oh no, I want to hear my propaganda. That
Yeah.
is
It's fine as long as it aligns with me.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's worrisome. I agree.
Yeah.
But shit, that's some fucked up shit, guys. Do you guys feel like this is just going to be? I mean, we've talked about movies' relationships to the army and stuff before. Do you feel like this is just a trend that's kind of rocketing on?
I mean, the Twitch thing was really fucking bad, and I don't know if people realize how fucking bad it is.
Mm-hmm.
You're also, and like for more context, you're also talking to someone who fucking hates that like the military can try to recruit at like colleges, targeting people who are essentially just trying to figure themselves out and find identity in a new world that they are not used to.
They're not the Ivy Leagues.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, they're not the Ivy Leagues. God, I think we even had some at our high school. So like,
I don't.
No, we did.
Well, I was gonna say I don't know. I can't really see it as a trend if it's been going on for 19 years.
it's just part of it. Yeah.
That'd be a long ass trend. I mean, I doubt it's gonna stop anytime soon.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so rather than trend, I would rather say, do you see anything that is in resistance to that as a norm or as a way things?
A lot of it comes down to the people who know, like, definitely not from like gaming magazines or companies. I think because they're too entwined. A lot of them are too entwined with like the developers. You see it a lot at like the smaller level. So with some streamers, some YouTubers, a lot of indie games, a lot of those going on. Essentially those that are not on the mass appeal,
Right.
But there are people there.
Sure.
I mean, for as small as we are, we obviously make our stances clear,
Sure.
and maybe it's because of the luxury of being so small as we are.
I mean, I
Uh,
definitely don't think that we're an island unto ourselves. It's not like we're, oh shit. It's not like it's impossible to see other voices that I think
Yeah.
share some of our opinions.
Yeah, I don't think it's entirely hopeless, but I still think the game industry is so fucked with everything that, and the people who are like running in a heart of it are so far gone from reality.
Right.
Like, God, I mean, like
Well,
people always wondered why, and I know, I'm sounding more and more cynic towards like the bigger games, but fuck, man, you just see so much of this shit. Like, I don't know if people put up with it.
I mean, and we've been talking about this. We're not going to be able to get into the rest of it, but I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much other stuff besides that as a dirty business practice. I mean,
Yeah.
there's just kind of skeevy people who operate these companies. There's abusive workers. There's
Oh yeah, the game industry is like one of the worst to work for.
yeah. I mean, so yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I thought I had a positive point to swing over to. I didn't. It was just bad news.
Yeah. Let me throw a little bit more like lighter fluid onto the fire.
Okay.
That trailer I was talking about
Yeah.
at some point uses the power fist as iconography
Mhm.
as part of this evil group. So the black power
So
fist.
can
So
we-
and everything I've told you about this trailer, right?
Yeah.
And they did redact something from that trailer, and what that was that fist, because what they interpreted wrong, or what people were upset about
Right.
for that trailer, was just that iconography, and not the whole
Basically,
notion
just
and the
Not the
and the
notion of
backdrop.
the military in our own cities in our whatever.
Yeah, and that you're with them.
Right.
Your power fantasy is with them.
So like
Eh.
that's not even subtle then. Like
Yeah.
I know we didn't say it explicitly, but like just so that it's just to be clear here.
I just
That-
you can
that
go watch
sound-
the minute and 20-second trailer for yourselves, folks, because like, but it's fucked. It's one of those things, man. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say to you, like, or to say to people
Well,
anymore. I still, I still find tone deafness funny. Like, I'm still there, so that's cool.
oh no, I think that there are many situations where it's still funny as shit. It's
Yeah.
still
Oh, it's fucking hilarious that they think that that these fucking companies, how serious they take themselves.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can end this on a good note if you guys don't mind.
Oh please.
Nick, is that okay with you? Got anything else, or?
Do you have anything else, Sat?
Yeah,
No,
because
Chris,
hey, we want to end on a positive note. Right?
then do it. Okay, go ahead.
No, it's Nick. Nick, if you have
I'm
something to say,
excited.
I want to make sure you get your chance to say it.
Yeah. Go for it.
No, I mean it's out. Look, all I'll say is that I think there's just a breaking. I just think there's the breaking point. I think
Yeah.
that there's clearly a limit everyone can put up with, no matter what they consume, and I think it's just becoming more apparent as this goes along. Like these games coming out,
Mhm.
and I think that's just the reality is that there's more and more opportunities for these situations to be discussed, and that gap between like consumers that understand the issue and then the companies that are companies' actions who are intended just for the sake of marketing.
Right.
I think that gap's just getting further and further.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I agree.
Yeah. I totally, 100% agree.
I have one last sad thing.
Okay.
I have a bittersweet to mellow us from sad to medium to your happy thing.
Got it. Go for it.
You'll fuck that fish.
I did fuck that fish. It was real good. Real good.
Very bittersweet.
Bittersweet.
Put it back in the bowl.
I mean, I loved it when it happened, and then I looked back and said, "God, oh God, what did I do?"
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I just got the news last night about a big passing that happened. I
Oh
don't know
wow.
if you
Yeah.
guys.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought we could mention that. We'd mentioned.
Yeah, you're
another big
right. No,
passing.
I almost completely forgot. I did want to mention that.
Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah,
Wonderful
43
actor, 43 years old. Lost
colon
his battle
cancer.
to colon cancer. And I just now the reason I introduced this as bittersweet is just because he died incredibly young. It's incredibly sad.
Yeah.
And also I guess he kind of kept it from most people. Most people weren't aware.
Yeah, most people weren't aware except his family.
Yeah. But the other thing I just want to say is Chadwick Boseman did so many wonderful things with his life outside of his artistic achievements. He's an incredibly generous man. Just seemed, really sweet, really lovely.
Oh yeah. Forgo the amazing pieces of work he did with the amazing performances. He did charities. Was an all around solid, excellent dude. And go ahead.
I just want to say that because we were talking, I think as a direct result of what we were just talking about, I think Chadwick Boseman was an amazing proponent for Black Lives Matter and for that kind of movement, and he also as the character as the fictional characters that he played and the person he actually was represented Black excellence and beauty and just the kind of person you would hope that the children of tomorrow would want to be like. He was a great guy.
Yeah, and before I say my piece, I will say I'm not gonna be here and pretend I know the person. Every hand account, every account of his character I have heard has been nothing but absolute praise and positivity. And I know of his charity work. I know of his resistance work as well. I will say how, as someone who grew up loving superheroes and looking towards them as a kid as kind of a role model, because I don't know, like I guess you start believing in them more than actual people. To make sure a generation has their own icon, like to make sure Black kids have someone on the screen that looks like them, that is a fucking hero. I cannot state to you how important that is for people to have someone they can look at that reminds them of themselves, to be a good person, to be a hero, to be someone who stands like across your gaze. And I know I'm getting a little sappy there, and I guess it's just the comic book nerd in me, but to not only take on that role of being a superhero like on screen, but in real life, and being that person and being that idea, embodying that, is you don't get that often. And when it happens, it's fucking magical, and that's what Bosman did. So I know, again, I'm some nobody, but condolences to the family and like everyone like that.
Absolutely.
And like to everyone who loved his work. Because we got like, I don't want to think of it on a selfish account, because let's just celebrate his life, I guess.
Yeah. Celebrate all the great things he did.
Yeah. It's good shit. Yeah. All right. I know that's such a hard transition, right? Go watch Black Panther, everyone. It's one of the best Marvel movies out there. Like,
it's real good. It got an Oscar nomination, guys.
Yeah. I'm still of the opinion it's better than like most Marvel movies.
It is an excellent movie. It's a really cool.
It's actually written well and directed well, and the music's actually good, that's surprising.
It's got Afrofuturism. Like, I didn't think I'd see a movie that big a budget that does.
Oh yeah,
it's awesome. It's really cool, really fun.
And the choreography is fucking awesome.
He flips a whole car with his hands, guys.
Oh man, do you know how they do the chase scene on the cars? Because that's not special effects.
Is he hanging onto a car?
No. Okay, here's what they're doing. Those cars that they're chasing, You can't tell, but they're dragging. They're on a conveyor belt of mats of rugs,
Okay.
and the stuntman for Black Panther, he's running on essentially a rug that's being dragged by a car, and he's running while that car is moving. So he's moving at 30 miles per hour, like because of that. And it's like, I think one of them said it's like the scariest fucking thing is running that fast. I think you can't take in like data and like you have to be in a straight line because you're not taking in enough data through your eyeballs to react fast enough.
That's fucking bananas.
It's fucking wild, dude. Why would you do that? That seems so nuts.
You could do a green screen. No, I want to do
I'm gonna drag you on a rug, and you're gonna run fucking 30 miles per hour.
Ready, set, go. We're gonna do it 5 times.
Holy dude, that shit's fucking wild. Oh man, that's like my favorite fact about that movie. Because now I watch it and I go, that dude must be like shitting his pants, like scared.
Just under the helmet.
Fuck. I don't even know how they stopped. That's the video. That's part of the video I want to watch.
He has to hit the car.
He has to vault the car every time and land, I don't know, in like a pool of water. Okay, I think that's a podcast.
Think we did it?
I think we did it. Nick, we did it? Yeah, we did it. Yeah.